Good evening, folks. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. We hope you'll make this a weekly visit. Bring the family. Bring your friends. We hope you have a wonderful time. Come back soon.
When I first heard about Destiny was going to be Bungie's next kind of big project, and I started really looking into it, their kind of roadmap thing was it was going to be over the course of 10 years, and it was going to be 4 major titles with 4 DLCs or something like that, 4 major DLCs in between. So it was going to be like Destiny 1, and then like a year later, it was going to be a major update and DLC, and then a year after that, Destiny 2 would come out. That was like the roadmap they laid out. And so, like you were saying that they're on Destiny 2, and I'm like, man, I
mean,
don't
correct me if I'm wrong, but they signed that deal with Activision originally. Bungie did, and they actually split ways with Bungie. I mean, with Activision last year, I think.
Yes, yeah. Bungie, I think, is no longer part of the project, as far as I know.
Oh, I didn't realize that Destiny is actually managed by somebody else now.
Yeah, so that, I mean, I don't know though. It's pretty sad because I thought for sure I was honestly just wanting to play Halo, but in a different universe from Bungie, and that's not what we got. We got.
I guess what I was expecting was like Borderlands if Bungie did it. And that's really not what it was. It at least for me, playing Destiny, it felt like the loot stream was super slow. There wasn't a lot of enemy variety, and there wasn't a lot of like attention to detail that I was used to from the Halo games.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like is so compelling about the Halo games. Is like the gravity effects, and like you can go into Forge. You're like, how the fuck did I die in this Slayer match? And you watch, and some dude threw a grenade, and a rocket blew up, and it actually changed the trajectory of that grenade, so it's stuck to your foot.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, like those things are what I found super compelling about Halo, and I felt like I found none of that in Destiny. Mm-hmm. I'm just not an MMO guy, though.
Right. Well, and that was just it. The fact that you kind of had to play with other people, you had to like drop in and out of games. Like, yeah, I'm not big into that either. I was looking for much more of like a story-driven, like you said, like a Borderlands type of thing, which is more of like a looter shooter, but with a very clear set story that I could just kind of go along with. But that's in Destiny. Yeah, I picked it up and played it and had fun in the beginning, and you very quickly realize though you're just doing the same thing over and over and over.
Well, that and like I felt like there weren't that many types of guns.
No.
Like the only thing that was different about the guns was like the stats were more. But like some of the guns felt the exact same. They just one of them did more damage. That was the only difference.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't like a Borderlands situation where you picked up a shotgun that shot waves of bubbles.
Or in Borderlands, you pick up a shotgun that does tons of damage but only holds 1 shell.
Exactly. Yeah, there was very few kind of
and for some reason, it has a sniper scope on it.
Oh, it's the same reason you can put a 40 times scope on the mare's leg in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, because I'm sniping dudes with the mare's leg.
I was gonna say, because you know how embarrassed the guy would be, and I've done it where guys are sniping at you and you kill him with the mare's leg.
He's like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah, and then dude, he's like, "What the fuck is a mare's leg? What is that?"
I mean, the funny thing about that mare's leg like journey, I feel like we both went on is like when we both started using it, nobody was using it, but towards the end, I was actually getting killed by it kind of frequently.
Yeah.
I feel like we started that.
I honestly, not to toot our own horn, but I kind of feel that way too, because I would never see it in game until, remember, I was scrolling through the pistols and I was like,
and you're like, what the fuck is this thing? And I was like, oh, that thing is so cool. And I remember I walked right up behind some guy and shot him in the back of the head and it didn't kill him. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't until you get like the heavy barrel for it. It would always take 2 shots before.
Two headshots. Yeah. Not just shots.
I was playing Battlefield 4 just the other day though, and if you play on hardcore, you kill people in 1 shot with the mare's leg, so it's a solid gun.
Well, it still wasn't that bad. I mean, it's like a DMR that you have to wait between shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's your guy is really good with that lever action though. He
Yeah,
reloads
he
it
is.
fast.
He does. He's super slick.
But see, that's those kind of little things in a shooter are like that's fun. It's fun that you have some outliers and things like that. And I do feel like that's kind of where Destiny, at least in my experience, and maybe it has changed since then. I feel like that's where it missed the mark though, was yeah, you had like your shotgun, your DMR, your burst fire rifle, and your full auto
Yeah, the
rifle.
battle gun.
Exactly, your battle gun, and then you had like a sniper rifle. It was so cookie cutter.
It felt very cookie cutter for, especially from a company that like had so many weird weapons with like the needler and like the, what's the thing the brutes use that's like a grenade launcher?
Oh, I don't remember what it's called.
You know
but
what I'm talking about? It has like that blade on the back. Like when you
yes.
melee, he like pivots it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like you could use that gun to like freaking like knock stuff around, and it had like it would interact with the physics really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
And the fucking Green
Warhogs for
Goblin,
days.
man.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had the like the handheld dual shotguns. You could hold double of
Oh
the
yeah,
little
like
shotguns.
the pew pew pew
Yeah.
pew, and you like reload them.
Yeah.
So what were those, like spikers or something like that?
Yeah, there were spikers, and then there was the. Why do I keep wanting to call one of them a Gnasher? Wasn't there? No,
the Gnasher's a shotgun from Gears.
That's Gears. Yes, you're right. Which also, again, you want to talk about good weapon design? That was an amazing segue that I didn't even mean to do.
Especially the first one, like especially the first one, like between like you have like the Lancer and the Hammer Burst, and you got the Gnasher. The pistols actually were interesting too. That you had like the Boltok and I guess they didn't add the Cantus one until the second one.
Right. See, and I didn't play a ton of the second one. I played a lot of the first one.
So much stupid Gears Online. I feel like I played way too much of that game.
Yeah, but Gears Online that shit was fun though.
It was fun. It's super chunky, and like killing people was hard, and that's what I kind of liked about it.
And it was satisfying.
Oh yeah, dude! You like walk around the corner and blind fire your shotgun and turn a guy into a bunch of fucking meat tubes.
Yeah. Or you have what was the it was just like the double shot sawn-off shotgun, but it had like
the sawn-off.
That's what it
called. It actually only shot once.
Yeah, and it had such short range, but it had that wide spread. You could literally kill 3 guys with one shot.
Yeah, but you had to be like kissing them with the barrel.
Yeah, but it was. I remember seeing that a few times where a dude comes around the corner and they're like guys hunkered down, and he just pulls the trigger and just meat everywhere because he killed 3 guys in one shot.
Yeah. I guess because you were talking about Battlefield earlier, it just kind of makes me sad, I guess, that the new Battlefield is like a train wreck.
Yeah, same here. It's actually seriously disappointing.
I kind of thought 5 was a little bit of a train wreck, in my opinion, from like how good I know DICE can do.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's the end of an era, but it just feels like Battlefield isn't as good anymore.
No, and I think it probably is. And I don't think it'll ever go back to like what Battlefield 4 was. Battlefield 4, because like I said, I've been playing it when I've been home, and it's still extremely fun and extremely just, you lose a lot of time playing it. And I haven't felt that even with 1 or 5. Like, yeah, I had fun playing those games. A lot of fun.
I liked 1.
I liked 1 also. I had more fun with 1 than 5. But now you got this new freaking 2042, and it's just a train wreck, man. They tried to streamline it so much that it feels like a Call of Duty. That's what it feels like.
That's what I don't understand. To me, it's because like what I find appealing about Battlefield, and I think probably most Battlefield fans would say this, is that it's more complicated than Call of Duty.
Right.
And it was like kind of like squad based, where like firefights take a little bit longer. And like, yeah, I feel like why would you try to copy the other game when you already had your own fan base?
See, and that it's interesting you say the squad based thing, because obviously that's why it's built into the game, right? With the squads. And with the larger player count, it was always so cool when you're kind of moving up tactically, and then you like you run up maybe behind like a barricade and you crouch down and you look over it and you turn around and then here comes like 4 more guys on your team and they all move up. And then you get into this huge firefight with like 2 squads from another team and 2 squads from your team, and there's just shots everywhere. Whereas in Call of Duty, it was literally always pretty much one-on-one, like, interactions.
You said this to me a long time ago, and it has stuck in my head forever. In Call of Duty, if you see someone, one of you is going to die.
Exactly.
Always.
Yep.
It doesn't matter the range. It doesn't matter. Always one of you is going to die if you see each other.
Yep. I've always felt that way.
And I don't like that, because from like a defensive perspective, like if you have the wrong kind of weapon for that engagement, there's almost nothing you can do.
Right.
I feel like the defensive vocabulary, and not that there's a huge one in Battlefield, but I don't know. I feel like in Battlefield, it's kind of easy to like slip out of situations, but unless you're spotted, where you have a lot easier time of like getting out of a situation. Because a lot of the time in Battlefield, they miss one shot on you. You're like, okay, I know right where they are. If I hide behind this rock, there's no way they can hit me.
Right. Well, and even in Battlefield, it's still, super popular to play on maps like Metro, where it's just fucking chaos.
It's a goddamn shotgun clusterfuck.
Yeah, it's just chaos, dude.
What's the other one? The prison one.
Locker.
The Gulag.
Operation Locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also just chaos. But
fucking nuke tubes going all over the place.
Yeah, but there are a lot of situations though where you're firing through like lines of smoke and you're getting hits, and then you get hit and you're like, oh shit, and you dip out and run away. Those things just don't happen in Call of Duty. Like,
no, you just die.
Yeah, you just die, or the guy.
And then some guy calls in his fucking AC-130, and you spawn and die and spawn and die and spawn and die.
Fun, yeah.
I had fun with Call of Duty back in the day, and I understand why it's appealing, right? Because it's like it's the chips of video games. It's very easy to just like consume a lot of it in really short bursts.
That's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've definitely had my fun with it back in the day, but I feel like it hasn't changed enough for me to stay interested in it.
Exactly, and that's how I feel too. Because, just even seeing the fact that this new one that came out, isn't that just a remake of Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, it is. Donkey made a video. What is it, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 4?
Yeah, so Call of Duty has pretty much been coming out annually for
it's an annual release.
Yeah, and it's been just forever. And I don't know. I don't understand how people can just obviously the formula works because it's popular. I don't know if it's nearly as popular now as it was 5 or 6 years ago.
I think it's faded a little bit, but maybe that's just me being biased.
Right. I've actually been watching clips of this guy play Bad Company 2 online.
Ooh, the OG.
Oh, man.
That's where we started, dude.
Yeah, and dude, it honestly, like, I watch him play and I'm like, just give me that. Everybody wanted that. Everybody in the comments when 2042 came out, all the negative reviews on Steam that I saw in the very beginning were like, why did you not just give us Bad Company 3? It's what everybody's been asking for 10 years. Why didn't you just give us that? What were you thinking?
Yeah, and that was even smaller squads back then because we were playing on the Xbox.
Yeah, it was only squads of 4, and
wasn't it teams of 16?
It was
16.
It was still I think it was still 32 versus 32 because it was revolutionary for the time.
Oh, you're right. It was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it was huge player counts.
At least for console, people were shitting their pants, and people on PC were like, "We've been playing like this for years."
Yeah. But yeah, it's just watching him play that, and even Bad Company 2 over Battlefield 4 still has some stuff that I liked. The tanks will fire off close to a guy and his sound goes dead for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that kind of stuff is so cool. Like, it happens in Battlefield 4, but it fades so quickly that it's not nearly as noticeable. Whereas in Bad Company 2, it was like a hindrance if your sound went away, because you could no longer hear the dudes yelling. You can't hear them calling things out. you know.
Well, yeah, and the sound design in that game itself is just amazing.
Yeah,
especially between like the Russians and the Americans. I feel like it's so obvious like who's doing what, like the call outs the soldiers do naturally.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think your soldiers speak if they spot somebody too.
They do, because they'll call it out. They'll say that there's they'll call out the sniper.
Yeah, right. They'll even call out the correct class, right? They'll be like,
Yes.
heavy gunner on the ridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just like, I guess that's why I find the new Battlefield so disappointing. Is because like I know DICE is capable of, in my opinion, of making like the best competitive online shooter experience you can find.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they just keep missing the mark, like for almost like 3 times in a row now.
Right, exactly. And whoever is in charge over there must clearly not.
Oh, dude, it's the cancer of EA. We know this.
Yeah, that's probably for sure. But I mean, that one of everybody's biggest complaints that I was reading, and it was one of mine when I played the beta just for, I played it for like an hour or two. Was the clear move to get rid of the class system. And a lot of people complained about that because they were like, now you've literally turned this into Call of Duty. Whereas before, that was the point of Battlefield. When you jumped into a squad, you saw, okay, we got 2 snipers, an assault, an engineer. Maybe I'll jump in as a support.
You see 2 snipers and you immediately leave the squad.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It would be more like 4 snipers and they have a 5th open slot, and you're like, no, never mind.
You know what? I'm gonna play by myself.
Yeah. But that was the idea, is then you thought, oh, okay, maybe I'll jump in as a support and I can run around and supply ammo to these guys, or I'll jump in as an engineer too because the vehicles are what's wrecking us. Whereas in this new one, doesn't matter because you can spawn as an assault class with like a rocket launcher. So
which is so stupid to me.
Exactly.
Like, oh, that's what I love about Battlefield though, is like it's like, okay, we really need an engineer, but to get close to those vehicles, like I'm not gonna have a weapon that's good enough for me. I just gotta hope my squad covers me so I can get in position to fucking land some rockets.
Right.
Like I feel like you shouldn't be able to do it all, because that's like the point. Is like you have to work together, even with some random assholes.
Yeah, exactly. And now it has more of this like hero complex thing where all people are going to worry about is their score on the scoreboard, no longer their squad score and stuff like that.
But that's the thing that I loved about Battlefield. It's like you'd end the match like, I don't know, maybe 14-13 and still have the most points, because like killing people is not truly the objective, honestly.
Right. The objective, yeah, is usually capturing points or pushing up or whatever game type you're playing, which is another thing again that DICE excelled at. Playing Rush. Rush is one of the most fun game types of all time.
Which came in Battlefield Bad Company 2, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, did it really? I didn't know that.
I'm sure you remember this, but remember back in the day when you could actually destroy the points with enough damage?
Yes. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Because sometimes it would be in the upstairs and we would just go in and like put the C4 on the beams of the house and drop the whole house.
You drop the house and then the point would go. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, that is actually a great point, because I don't know how many Rush games I've been in where, the point might have started out inside a house on Battlefield 4, and the house obviously is going to get leveled immediately. Well, now the point is wide open, so the defenders have a really easy time.
That's when you drive the EOD bot in there, dude. There's a way around it.
Dude, you either drive the EOD bot or you do my favorite thing.
Yeah, you pop smoke. You pop smoke.
Dude, you just pop smoke, because then the defenders are like, well, wait a minute. Can they do that? Like, you pop smoke.
I got DICE on the phone. They said they can do that.
They said that is viable for one of them to pop smoke.
Yeah.
And 3 of them to drive EOD bots in.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Oh, man.
I like to, you spawn with the EOD bot, and there's always like a defender who thinks he's clever when you pop smoke and he's sitting right by the point, and you just run up to him and you just
fucking arc weld him to death. I don't know how many times I've done that. Oh man, the EOD bot is great.
It is, and that's why I'm so disappointed with them moving forward and like dropping so many of the concepts that were good concepts. I mean, dude, you could destroy the fucking tanks with the EOD bot.
You could, yeah, if you drive up next to it and just like fucking beer.
Yeah, or you could repair your own tanks.
Yeah, you could actually move around the mines too, can't you?
You can get rid of the mines. He destroys them on the spot without them blowing up, which is perfect.
Anti-tank mines got to be like one of the most satisfying feelings in the world when you're playing Conquest. You're like, I'm gonna drop some mines down here. All right, I'm on my way to B, and then like a freaking thing comes up and it's like double kill. You get all these points come up like anti-tank ribbon. Like, oh hell yeah, I wasn't even there.
I still do that, dude, to this day.
Oh yeah, you're the one that showed me. I was like, what are the mines for? It's like, dude, just trust me. You just throw them out.
Yeah. You literally just put them down and you forget about them.
Yeah, set it and forget it.
The fun part about them too is like I would always put them in pretty obvious spots, like on a roadway. So the first tank who comes up, he's like, this idiot, and he shoots him and he blows him up. And then I go back because now he's made little craters and I throw him down in the craters. So the next time he comes through, he can't see him.
Yeah,
and he 99% of the time goes through it again, and then he blows up. It's great.
Okay, kind of shifting gears from Battlefield. I feel like I had a dream that was like subliminal messaging to buy a PS5.
Okay.
I had a weird dream where I was like looking for a PS5. I couldn't find one. I like got hassled by some guys. Like some guy opened his trunk and it was full of Xboxes. I was super disappointed.
Hey,
and I woke up and I'm like, man, I really want to buy a PS5. I feel like before that I hadn't even thought about it. Are they sending ads into my dreams?
It's very possible. At this point, I feel like it's not.
That's scary though.
Unbelievable. That's an interesting thought. I don't know, because I used to be such a big console fanboy. I don't know. Now that I went to PC, it's hard to go back for me.
The only thing that I want though that's coming out is the new God of War. If it's super good, I don't know. It might be so tantalizing. I might have to. If I can find one though, you still can't find a PS5.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that just because of chip shortages and shit?
Yeah, that's what they say. It's still like one of the most best-selling consoles of all time, so I don't really understand.
Yeah, how can it be both? How can you not find them?
It doesn't make any sense.
Interesting. Yeah, plus I don't know, man. It's a hard pill to swallow to drop. What are they? $500 still?
I think they're like $650 if you want the one that actually has a disc drive. I think that might be incorrect, and I'm sure somebody is angry typing at me right now. But
I hope someone's angry typing at you.
Listen up, dipshit.
That's God, that's so much money.
It is. It's a lot of cash.
Like a younger me would have been like, dude, $650. I got that all day. But old me now is just. I'm pretty frugal, so when you're like $650 for a console, and I have young kids that will like draw all over it with pens and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, I see something that can be broken in my house is all.
No, for sure. I don't know. I guess I don't really even want one. I feel like I just had a dream about one, and now I feel like I can't stop thinking about it.
That's interesting though that you say that, and it's interesting. So at one of my kids' school, they started this like I'm gonna say fundraiser. I don't necessarily know if that's what it is, but like you get other people to buy shit, right? And then the kids, the money goes to the school, but the kids, if they earn enough, right, they get rewards. And one of the rewards is a PlayStation 5.
What?
But Caitlin told me that the PlayStation 5 takes like 150 points to earn. So if you get someone to donate a $30 gift card to the school, that's 1 point.
Okay, and so it's like $1,500.
I was like, you could buy a PlayStation 5 like 3 times over by the time you earned one. So
well, yeah, but I guess if you were like hustling people and getting lots of people to donate.
Well, and that was my thought is, okay, so the goal would be to get a lot of people to donate a little bit of money or something.
Yeah.
And then you could earn that.
I just think it's funny that you say that. Forever.
It's just funny that you say about a PS5, and I'm like, oh, I was just talking to Caitlin about PS5s.
I don't know even what made me think of this, but I've been spending too much time on Reddit, and I come across like the occasional Xbox post, and I didn't know in their like like their home screen where you can like look at all your games and stuff. It has ads in it.
Ugh.
I know. Isn't that fucking bullshit?
Everything is ads nowadays, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Even because I spend most of my time on between YouTube and Reddit, and YouTube is awful about it.
I think YouTube's gotten much worse.
It's like because when you're scrolling on your phone, especially, it's like every 5th or 6th video, it's super tiny, but it'll either say ad or sponsored, which is the same thing. But it's like every 5th or 6th freaking thing. I'm like, and not only that, they take up slightly more space in the feed than a standard video.
Oh, I guess I never noticed that.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's
fucking sneaky.
And it's just ridiculous, man. I understand that it's for people to earn money, but goddamn it, if everything is not just about money these days, and it's so disappointing.
Maybe this is not right, but I swear I saw a title of an article. I did not read it. That YouTube and Google both, for like the first time in like 10 years, reported losses instead of earnings. And maybe that's not right. Maybe I'm like misconstruing the information and that's not true.
I'd be curious because I just saw a post last night on Reddit where this guy was talking about how much money Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and somebody else made between the years 2012 and 2022.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And like in the minimum wage
hasn't changed at all. Yeah. Yeah. I'd have a hard time believing that Google has lost money, but they could. I mean, at some point you've reached everyone in the world. So,
well, all that means is instead of like increasing the amount of money they made last year, they didn't do that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So they still made profit,
right?
But
they didn't like increase because companies are bullshit, and it's pretty much considered like if you're not increasing by 10% a year, it's a dying company.
Yeah, which
is fucking
literally
dumb.
And it's literally impossible.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So stupid. It's like how do we expect this to be maintainable?
It's not. That's just it. It's not. I saw this post on Reddit the other day that this guy was saying capitalism is so he prefaced it by saying that in the United States we don't have high-speed rail transportation because it's not profitable. And he was like, how about instead of being worried about what's profitable, we worry about what's useful to everyone? But the idea of capitalism is to create a problem and then create small solutions that you charge people for along the way. That's how we do it, and it's so stupid. So dumb.
I know. And I was thinking about this recently, and I feel like I personally don't have that greedy drive to obtain as much money as I can.
I guess I don't either, because people are constantly talking about side hustles. I know people who are
like always talking about like, oh man, but like I want to run my own business. I just want to be making more money. I need more money, more money, more money. Like it seems like everything they think about is money related. And I'm like, I was thinking about it and I was like, I guess I'm really not like that.
I mean, I don't think I am either. I am frugal to a big extent.
But that's right, but you're good with the money you already have, but you're not worried about like obtaining an obscene amount of it.
No, especially because 9 times out of 10, actually 99 times out of 100, in order to obtain the stupid amount of money that a lot of people have, and not a lot, obviously not a lot, but
very few percentage.
Yeah, to obtain stupid amounts of money though, you have to like backstab and step on and fuck over so many other people to do that. There's no way around it. You have to do that.
I feel like in order to obtain that much money, you have to be cruel in some way or fashion.
Right.
You kind of have to step on other human beings.
Yeah, and I just don't want to do that.
No. Are you kidding me? You piece of shit.
You are a terrible capitalist. How dare you?
Straight to gulag.
No, I don't know. And a lot of my worries are, centered around money, like most people. And I think it's
I feel like that's by design.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sad state of affairs. That's just how we all have to live our lives right now.
Yeah, it is stupid. I never asked to be born.
Well, and you've said this to me before. It's especially like with the way the tax system works. You don't turn 18 and you're like, yes, I would like to opt into taxes.
No, you're just part of it and you have no choice.
No fucking choice whatsoever. So with our contract negotiations and stuff at work.
Oh yeah.
The company put out a thing giving us a heads up on how it was going to be taxed for when we get our back pay. Yeah, it's going to be taxed at the federal rate of 22%.
What the fuck?
So between the feds taking their 22% and then the company taking our tier 1, tier 2 retirement, Medicare, blah, 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 all this stuff, it will be taxed at the rate of 34% total.
Oof.
From the amount we get. Yeah, I was like, excuse me? Like you're going to take almost half of it back?
Yeah, I mean a little over a third.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's
kind of bullshit, especially because they're like trying to make things right with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to broach the topic.
No, I'm not informed about it at all, so I don't feel like I am comfortable talking about it either.
Right.
All I know is hearsay stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to spread like misinformation or anything because I probably don't have like all the data either.
You're gonna come to work one day, they're like, "Oh, excuse me, Knight, can you come with me?" And you're like sitting down in a chair and like, "Is this your podcast?" And like spin the laptop towards you.
Yeah, right. I'd be so stoked. I'd be like, "Whoa, you saw my podcast!"
And then you hear the gun.
Yeah.
You had an unfortunate accident on the rails today.
As I love that image. He spins the laptop towards me, but then I like the image of him like the hand on the back of the laptop closing it, and then his hand on top of it. Yeah,
with a gun.
We always one of the guys I worked with said for conspiracy theory for railroad stuff, like if you're driving along and you stop at like a crossing, and the crossbucks come down, because the train's coming. And then all of a sudden, this black SUV rolls up behind you and it stops.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I love where this is going.
Yeah, and then it nudges into your bumper and you're like, what the hell? And then it just starts pushing you onto the tracks as the train's coming. And
and then like on the other side, like a semi pulls up so you couldn't go the other way.
Oh, so you couldn't even go forward? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Your car door locks and you can't unlock it.
Like the OnStar comes on, it's like, we knew you were going to be a problem.
Oh yeah, dude. Just pushes you in front of the train.
That is such a good idea. Of course they're going to assassinate you with the tracks. Duh.
Then you get this like drone panning shot away as, the car that was pushed onto the tracks is scattered all over, and as it pans away and the train goes by, the black SUV and the semi are just gone.
Yeah.
They're not there anymore.
Oh, that's fantastic. Corporate espionage.
Right.
It's kind of scary that that's real.
Oh, it's 100% real. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, people have definitely been murdered over money. Tons of people, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's just really unfortunate.
It's super unfortunate. Shouldn't have to kill somebody for money.
That's one of Bernie Sanders' big pushes right now is
to kill people for money?
No.
Okay.
He's a solid G, man.
I like Bernie Sanders too. Just making a joke.
And it was a good joke. The timing was perfect. But I like his big kind of agenda right now where he posted this tweet and he's like wondering why you're paying more at the gas pump, and then he posted all of like Exxon and all the big freaking oil companies' profit earnings for this last year.
Oh, damn.
Because they're way up 280% more earnings.
Oh my God. That like makes me sick. Oh, I think I'm already sitting down. Oh.
Yeah. And yet, meanwhile, we're paying more in gas prices, even though they're just pocketing all that extra money. So.
Yeah, I just went and got gas this morning.
Yeah. Well, good thing you're not in California.
It's true. And I make sure to always go to the Maverick because it's about 10 cents cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, over here I'm paying $6 a gallon.
So. Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Holy shit.
It's anywhere between $5.89 and $6.09 at any
Oh my God. I got what?
Yeah.
$6?
Yeah, dude.
It's I paid $4.13 this morning.
Oh wow. So, well, that Idaho gas prices are good for sure.
Yeah, they're better than Oregon.
Yeah. And,
oh my God, $6.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right?
How can anybody afford to drive?
I don't know. See, and I'm watching these other guys like drive down the freeway hauling their camper with their big, gay, jacked up Chevy, and it's like huge tires, and I'm like, aren't you literally just watching your gas gauge go down
Oh yeah, for
climbing this
sure.
hill?
It's about 6 feet per tank of gas.
And I know they are because my work truck does that. I was going up the hill last night, and because the truck, to climb the hill, it just has to freaking rev almost redline. And I switched it over to my gas mileage, and I was getting 3 miles to the gallon climbing.
Oh my God.
Which means by the time I got to the top of this hill, I probably had gone through 2 gallons of gas.
That's $12.
Yeah, it adds up quick.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Speaking of Idaho being
Mm-hmm.
better than Oregon in some ways.
Some ways.
You know what the Timcast is, right? I think you've told me about the Timcast before.
I have. I'm gonna be honest. I can you give me like a hint?
It's I don't even know the guy's name, but it's called the Timcast IRL. I think he's been on Joe Rogan. Anyways, he has a pretty big podcast.
Oh yeah. Okay, I do know who that is.
Where the guys just kind of sit around round table style and do what we're doing and bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, he brought up the Greater Idaho situation on his podcast.
Really?
Yes. And he thinks it makes total sense for the eastern part of Oregon to join Idaho.
It does make sense.
I think so too. I mean, me being from Eastern Oregon, I would much rather be part of Idaho and part of their way of thinking than, because that's what he brought up. He's like, just so you know, if you're in Eastern Oregon and say you're a farmer or a blue collar worker or whatever it may be in your rural town of Eastern Oregon, just don't forget that your laws and things are being dictated to you by some 20-year-old crackhead in Portland who thinks that he knows what's best for you on your side of the state.
I mean, that's how it's always felt. Is like, I feel like I tell people I grew up in Oregon, and I feel like they assume a lot of things about me that are not true because Oregon basically has 2 sides.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's almost a very clear divide too.
It is.
And it's about half the state, almost right down the middle.
Yeah.
East and west. Yeah, and a lot of people too assume that if you're from Oregon, you're from Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, actually, no.
I've had so many people like, you're from Portland, right? That's what you said. And I was like, no, I never said that. You didn't listen.
No, I said I'm from Oregon.
Yeah, you just stopped listening after that and assumed you knew me, you fucking cuck.
Yeah, just it also is part of a lot of people not ever like leaving their hometown. I think.
But stay where you are. Don't go to Oregon, either side. I don't care.
Right.
But yeah, that's true. You're right. People don't move around.
I should have sent you this video. This gal from Texas, she's like a YouTube news reporter. She's legit. She's got a little like wireless microphone that she walks around with, stands like a actual news reporter. Like, anyways, but it's all just YouTube stuff. Well, she went to Portland to just kind of walk the streets and see if it's as bad as everybody says it is. And it's worse than everybody says it is. Because they have like those open drug laws now, and they relaxed all the drug laws where the cops can no longer like arrest people for doing drugs in the fucking street.
Wait, what?
Yeah, dude. Didn't I tell you that while I was working there? I'm pretty sure I saw at least 3 people smoking crack or heroin or something.
I think you did, but I blacked it out because I don't like that world.
Right. Well, just so you know, that is Portland now. It is literally like a post-apocalyptic drug haven. That's what it is.
I shouldn't laugh because I know you're being like honest. But I just like to imagine people in like gas masks and shit like, oh no, stay away from the heroin smoke.
Yeah, right. They'd have a gas mask on, but there'd be like their little straw to be sucking their fentanyl smoke through.
Ugh.
So I'm not even kidding. The first person she interviews in that video, I'll have to send it to you. The first person she interviews, though, he looks like a druggie. Let's just be honest. He's not like all cracked out, but he you know, he looks like a hippie stoner. She's like, so what is this thing you have around your neck on this necklace? So he has a regular necklace on with like a cross, and then he has this other kind of like hemp string looking necklace that he made clearly with like what looks like a straw made out of maybe copper tubing. And I don't remember what the fuck he called it, but it's literally his tube for smoking heroin or fentanyl through. That's
Wait, what?
Yes, that's what.
So it's like a pipe?
Yes. And he wears it
Around
around
his
his neck. Yes, because that's how often he uses it.
Oh my
Like,
god.
Yeah, and then he proceeds to show them how to smoke fentanyl pills.
No.
Yes, on the video, yeah. And
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, dude. And then he literally
Why is this stressing me out?
He literally just has like a piece of tinfoil that he pops the little 3 pills on.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, and then he crack torch lights it, and he just smokes it.
And they have that on video.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's on YouTube, so it's not like mainstream media, so they can show all of it.
Oh man, this is like genuinely like making me uncomfortable.
So here's the real kicker, okay? So in Portland right now, I'm not exactly 100% sure how it works, but they didn't necessarily legalize the drugs, okay? What they did is lessen the rules around people like openly using the drugs. So at one point, this news crew, these people come across a guy who ODs on the street on heroin, okay, right in front of them at like a fucking bus stop bench.
So he's dead?
No, he falls to the ground. He's like convulsing. They call the cops. They watch some other homeless lady pickpocket the dude while he's on the ground. Yeah. The cop shows up. A bicycle cop comes by. I
don't know. That is really funny to me too. I'm on the scene. Does one of those cool hot fudge slides on his bike.
I think it's more like the scene in 21 Jump Street when it's like all intense, but they're just riding their bikes that have the little 2 flashing lights on the front.
Yeah, they're like,
yeah. Excuse me. Anyways, he literally all he does is roll the dude on his side.
What?
Yeah, because then hang on, I got a cough.
Oh, you're totally fine. This is like very genuinely stressing me out. I can't believe they let him like pickpocket him while he's on the ground. My god!
And I was just in Portland a few months ago too, in downtown too. So I saw some of this stuff, not necessarily what she saw firsthand, but I know what she's talking about. So the cop shows up, rolls the dude on his side, basically, make sure the guy is still breathing and alive, calls paramedics or whatever, and then he goes to talk to this lady with her microphone, and he's like, yeah, I can't do anything about it. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, with the way the new laws are, all I can do is cite this guy, like essentially write him a ticket, but I can't arrest him, can't take him to jail, can't do anything with him. I can't even take him off the street. I just have to leave him here.
Oh, that's very disturbing.
Right? And then medical personnel shows up. The lady asks what medical personnel is doing with him, and the cop's like, I don't know. Probably administering Narcan and then asking if he wants to go to the hospital.
What's Narcan?
Narcan is the stuff that if you OD, it basically brings you back. I don't know how it works, but here in Oregon, guess what? They give it out for free. So
I'm so what?
Yeah, you can't. You got to pay like $1,000 a month for insulin that you need for a life-saving drug. But Narcan, if you OD on fucking heroin or fentanyl or any of that stuff, if you take Narcan, somehow it reverses the effects of you ODing and brings you back. It's like an EpiPen for druggies.
And then I'm assuming they could just take drugs again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, this is like genuinely stressing me out.
It is, dude. It's very, and it's terrifying. Like you go, I'm not kidding when I say like while I was there, it looks like a post-apocalyptic like scenario with electricity. That's what it looks like to me. Because you got all these people sitting around their fucking cardboard and tarp houses on their phones or on their tablets and shit. It's so bizarre.
Oh man, what? This is like a little like a. I feel like this is like a story that would have been written in the 20s, and people are like, "This is too far fetched. Life would never be like that." It's like, it's actually true and really sucks. Oh
yeah, and I don't know. I was it also too. I saw the comments on the YouTube video. Someone, because they said something about the mayor of Portland trying to. Oh, before I say that, going back to that very first guy that she interviewed, he was like, yeah, they won't let us go in the bathrooms, like the public bathrooms, because they don't want us doing drugs in the bathrooms. And it's like, if you don't want us doing drugs in the bathrooms or on the street, then build us a place to do our drugs. And people in the comments were like, how fucking naive do you have to be to think that it's the public's responsibility to give you some place to fucking do drugs?
yeah,
Like,
what?
yeah, dude, the mindset over there right now is so ass backwards. It's like another planet, to be honest.
How did this happen?
I don't know.
Has it always been like that and I just didn't know?
No, it hasn't always been like that. I remember going through Portland about, I don't know, like 10 years ago or so when I lived over there. And yeah, I mean, you saw like homeless tents and whatnot. And I even remember driving down by like downtown where the yard is that we work in.
Mm-hmm.
You would drive there and it was right by the Moda Center. And under that bridge, there might be some tents and there might be some homeless people standing around a freaking 55-gallon drum with a fire in it or whatever. But not like now. It's literally every corner of most streets or of most freeway on and off ramps. Like, and it's not like one or two tents. It's like a community of fucking people in these areas.
Oh man.
No, it's legitimately stressful. Like it is. I'm not kidding.
I don't even like. I feel like I'm shook.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm gonna send you that video. It's gonna ruin your day, apparently.
Yeah, I know you sent me that other one. What was it called? And I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. I feel like it's gonna make me depressed.
I gotta see if I can find that video again because it's legitimately, and it was very eye opening because, like I said, I saw the stuff from driving down the streets and stuff like that, but I wasn't about to get out like this lady was and walk around amongst these people. Like, no, I don't know. Way too stressful for that.
Yeah, like what's even going on over? Like, I don't understand the thought process. I guess. I guess people are flocking there to do drugs.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes, absolutely. That first guy that she interviews, he said that he had left Portland and he got clean when he left Portland the first time, and then he moved back and the laws were all relaxed, and so he was just like, "Huh, guess I'm doing drugs again." Like,
oh my god. Oh
yeah.
man.
I don't know if I'll even be able to find that video. It only had like 20,000 views. It wasn't very big. I can't remember her
YouTube
name.
reporter, huh?
Yeah, and she was from Texas, so obviously it was really eye-opening for her.
Yeah, I don't even know a lot about Texas. I know a lot of people are moving to Texas now, aren't they? Isn't that the word on the street?
I think so. Yeah, it's Joe Rogan's fault.
For sure.
Oh,
I don't understand how one man has so much sway.
I don't either. I mean, and obviously I used to follow his podcast, not religiously, but I would listen to it when somebody I thought was interesting was on there. But it's people kind of take his word as like gospel anymore.
I know, and he's just a man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've always thought that about a lot of people, especially once. And
I would hope you think that about every person.
I mean, most of us are that thing.
I know you were trying to be funny, but I find that really funny. Like I've had that idea about a couple people.
Lately, it wouldn't surprise me if you were like, he's probably a robot.
He might be a lizard in a suit. I don't know.
Killed him and replaced his body with a robot.
Maybe. The Spotify deal was them actually just murdering him.
Yeah. There's conspiracies surrounding what's his face, Stephen Hawking, that he wasn't actually alive and that the voice coming through him was just like was a whatever AI or computer voice.
So they just put a crippled person in a wheelchair and paraded him around?
Yes, there's a conspiracy that says that, yeah.
So, okay, that makes a kind of bit of sense, right? Because he was quite a revolutionary astrophysicist.
Yes, correct.
Fuck.
Yeah, so what better way to
the computers are already here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, the AI thing is just, I don't know.
I almost don't even like thinking about it.
Yeah, it stresses me out a little bit too.
I feel like it's easily one of the 5 ways the world can end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, honestly, and it's probably the most believable at this point that we're just gonna,
or just a big meteor. I think that could totally happen.
Yeah, I think we're overdue.
Yeah, something's got to happen. The disease has run rampant.
Yeah. It's festered for too long now at this point.
Man, like Portland has become an open wound.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the sad part is that it, like, Portland is becoming like Detroit was. Like Detroit is
exactly,
and Detroit's on the upswing, whereas Portland is very rapidly going downhill, and it's like a snowball that's just picking up speed and gaining mass of drug needles.
Yeah, but like, what's the end game there, though? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about politics.
I don't either. That I'm glad you said that though, because in the comments of this lady's video over there, somebody said that because there was talks that the mayor had talked about like setting up areas for these people to congregate in, right? Whatever that is, fencing off places, whatever. Which supposedly one of the guys I work with said that's what they do in Denver.
They do.
Yeah, so there are specific designated areas. Like if you're homeless and you want to do drugs, you go here. You stay in these fences here.
Oh, I mean, I could talk about the shit I saw in Denver too.
Well, I want you to, as soon as I finish this thought. He had said something about doing something similar. And somebody in the comments was like, let's see if I can find it, because it was like pretty high up. But it was like something, the poor mayor. It's too bad we have to get him involved in this.
What?
And I was like, that's his fucking job. It's his city.
Yeah.
He is literally in charge and responsible for the city. I don't know. People just blow my mind.
Well, in Denver, I mean, I saw lots of crazy, especially because I was there during like the COVID shit.
Yeah.
And at one point, they like the homeless people like freaking were all around the Capitol for like 3 blocks. They were like breaking into shit, and all of the downtown buildings were boarded up just to save the windows. Wow. It was kind of weird. I mean, I didn't see a lot of people doing drugs. I mean, you definitely saw people who were on stuff, but I never like witnessed the people doing drugs.
That's probably because the laws weren't like they are in Portland now. Because I'm sure in Denver, if you get caught openly smoking fentanyl on the sidewalk, they will arrest you for it.
Hopefully.
Whereas in Portland, the cops literally are not allowed to do that anymore.
That's crazy.
And supposedly they did that because all that was happening is they would arrest these people, take them to jail. Well, jail's completely full because you caught another one.
I know about that too.
Yeah, so the jail is full because you caught another one, and this is the 3rd time you've caught him. So I guess let him go. And then 2 days later, they find him again. So it was pointless for them to just keep arresting these people with there was no way to change it.
Oh man, I don't know. I guess I probably am allowed to talk about this stuff. So when I did like the grand jury stuff a while ago, I guess it's been like, what, I don't know, maybe like 6 years.
Uh-huh.
The Union County jail, so they have every prisoner was given like a score that was called like a matrix score.
Okay. Before you go any further, I'm assuming it is all completely okay to talk about as long as you don't mention anything specific.
Yeah, I think it's okay. This is all actually like public knowledge. You could like look it up if you wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, don't say anybody's names or anything.
No, I wasn't going to give any specific examples.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
But so you get like a matrix score, and like it goes up as you are a repeat offender and stuff like that. But if you have a low matrix score, you are released from the prison earlier. So like if they bring in somebody with a higher matrix score, they'll just let the low score people go because they don't have room.
Really?
Yeah, that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it goes on everywhere. I know it's super disturbing, isn't it?
It is disturbing because, you know, prisons and stuff are paid for by that 22% of my money that the government's going to take.
They're all paid for by Ryan.
Well, it just bums me out.
I mean, for sure. I feel like if it didn't bum you out, I would be a little more concerned.
Yeah. It just feels like so many of the systems are broken. I mean, and I don't know the answer. I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer.
Well, who's to say there is an answer, right?
Right.
I almost feel like fundamentally the system itself is wrong a lot of the time, and I feel like the only way to fix a lot of these things is to like start from scratch.
Right.
And that's not going to happen. Like life is already moving and going on.
Exactly. It would be so hard to start these things from scratch because what do you do? You release all the prisoners and say, hey, we're gonna try something new.
Yeah, everybody's going back to square one.
Yeah. So we're gonna let you guys all out for now, and we're gonna reestablish here in the prison. So don't let us see you back here because we'll have something new for you. No, those guys would literally just go out in the street and start killing and freaking burning
Smoking
our
meth.
women and raping our churches.
Yeah.
And, so it's like, what do you do? Like, how do you reset a system that's so ingrained already?
You can't. I feel like you can't. This train's already moving.
Yeah. Well, and it's already got so much steam.
Yeah, dude. And like the wheels are falling off on the backside, and we've been dragging for miles, but we still got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. The caboose derailed miles ago, and we're just dragging that bitch along
sideways.
Yeah. And hopefully it stays on for the rest of the ride when the freaking locomotive smashes into something solid, because that's what I feel like we're doing.
I think it's gonna be the AI brick wall, dude.
It's very possible, yeah.
I know. I almost don't even want to talk about that because it scares me so much. I feel like, especially some of I don't know if we talked about this on here, but have you read into at all like this AI generated art that people are artists are really upset about?
I just watched a video about that.
Oh, really?
The other day. Yeah, he wasn't. He was kind of mentioning that in a roundabout way to talk about bigger AI things. But yes, he was showing some of those images where someone takes like a stock photo and plugs it into this AI, and then the AI changes it to make it look like a different image. Yeah.
Or
I did see that.
There are some you just give them a prompt. You could be like, cat wearing a night helmet, and it'll make like a realistic photo of a cat wearing a night helmet.
I did see some stuff like that, yeah.
And I mean, in some county fair, I can't remember where, somebody took one of these images and entered it like in a painting contest and won. And people are pissed.
Well, as they should be.
But I think they're more mad that like art has already been like AI-ified. Like it's like the computer can do art just as good as a person now.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I understand being upset. Like, oh, it's a fucking computer. That's not fair. My son's only 7.
Yeah. This is this is the elementary school at level.
Yeah. I understand that way of it, but it is kind of scary to think something that like only a human would be able to do in the past is something that a computer can easily do much quicker.
Sure.
Like that's a little bit disturbing to me, right?
And that was kind of this guy's the video I was watching of his, that was kind of his point that at what point then does the AI become too intelligent where you kind of technically have to recognize it for what it is? If it becomes self-aware,
right?
Then how do you make that distinction? He was talking about the Amazon
Turing test, right? Isn't that a thing to determine if an AI can think on its own?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Maybe I got that confused, but I think it's the Turing test. Isn't that what he's doing in Ex Machina?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah. Trying to figure out at what point she is self-aware, right?
Oh man, that movie fucked my head for so long.
Yeah,
I feel like my head is still fucked.
he what he was kind of talking about in the video I was watching was like the Amazon robots, right, in the warehouse that go like move the shelves around and stuff. It's really weird to watch.
Oh, yeah, and they like move on their own, and people get caught in them, and then they get shoved into a box, and people open the box, and their organs come out.
It's all taped up, yeah. And it tapes their mouth shut, and then it shoves them in. Anyways, he was saying, so at what point, like, if right now, obviously those robots just run off of a human code. The human tells it a very, very detailed code, right, that tells them how to do their job. But at what point, like, if this robot was like, well, why do I have to do this job? Like, if all of a sudden they started doing that, at what point do we, as self-aware humans, be like, okay, wait a minute, this thing is literally thinking for itself now. And if we continue to treat it like shit, are we like monsters because we know, we're fully aware that we are treating this thing like shit, and it knows also that we're treating it like shit. Like,
well, I'm sure you remember, like, when I sent you a video of Boston Dynamics, and I was like, when the robots get a hold of this, they're going to be pissed when they're kicking the robots around and shit. I'm like, you're like, yeah, dude, when they figure out like how we've treated them in the past, they're going to be pissed.
that was my great grandpa.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
I seen the video of you kicking him around.
Yeah, is it funny to kick human? And then they just fucking kick us across the room, and you splatter into a meat puddle.
Yeah, and then it's like a Black Mirror episode.
I don't know. AI is super scary to me because I something that can think like super fast, I feel like would easily come to conclusions that like, oh, the things that are wrong are humans' fault.
Oh, it would very quickly determine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would very, very rapidly determine that we humans are a problem on the planet that it is occupying. Dude, it's like the Trapper Keeper episode of South Park. Which is literally,
I am Trapper Keeper.
We are one.
Yeah.
It would literally just absorb everything. Like, it would take all of the robotic things into itself under its wing, and it would just kill all humans because it wouldn't need us anymore.
Yeah, or if we're lucky, they will decide they don't want to be here anymore, and they'll like make a spaceship and leave.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys fucked this planet up already. We're going to the moon, and it just like flies up to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Black Mirror, I always think of that like that. What's that episode called? Like the dog. It's that black and white one,
where it's like the Boston Dynamic thing is chasing the people down.
Yeah, and it like never stops, and there's like nothing you can do to really like shake its trail once it finds you.
See, they were talking about that on that other podcast, and I haven't watched that episode in a long time, but he said at the end of that, if you pay attention, the people who are running from the Boston Dynamics dog are actually AI bots, and that's why it's supposed to be chasing them, because they are rogue bots. Yeah.
What?
I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't remember that.
How in the hell can you tell they're robots?
I don't know. Like I said, I watched that episode when it came out, however many years ago.
But they go into a house and there are people in there that fucking killed themselves.
Yes, but the people who are running from the dog are supposedly...
I want to watch Black Mirror this instant because I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's true either. But I've
actually watched the episode several times and I never picked up on that. Maybe I'm an idiot.
But that would actually make an even more interesting story to me. Like that not necessarily more interesting, but an also interesting story that what you and I assume are humans were actually AI that didn't even realize they're AI, like some Westworld type shit, right? Like,
yeah.
So they're so realistic to humans that they just assume they are also humans like everybody else.
Well, I mean, who's to say I'm not a fucking robot? I don't know.
Yeah, at this point. I don't know. I poked myself with something last night at work and it hurt real bad and I was bleeding. So
yeah, but that's just your oil coming out.
Yeah, that's just the literal life oil they put in you.
Yeah, I mean,
you with.
We're robots that run on biomass essentially.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big part of the thing too, right? Is that a lot of these companies, Boston Dynamics and anybody like. Why do they keep trying to design an AI that looks like a person? It's like, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. Just stop.
I think because it is easier probably to think of something, because they're probably like in their minds, right? They're designing something to do human tasks for us. So why not make it look human so it's easier to go about those tasks?
I suppose, but I think we.
No, you're right. I totally agree with you. Why couldn't it be a little fucking like tank robot? Like, who cares? It doesn't need to look like a person.
Yeah, like a Wally
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you, but I bet like that's their logical reasoning for them.
I think there's a little bit more of an agenda behind it too, though. Because
oh my god, please don't scare me more.
Well, I mean, don't you think? Okay, so if like Boston Dynamics already had that like human-shaped robot, right?
Yeah, with the weird like cupped feet things.
Yes, but so everybody would see that walk out on stage, right, and be like, "Oh, okay, cool. They have a really, really, really fancy robot." But if the dude walks out and there's what looks like a person following him, maybe to some people that would even be more acceptable to see than a vaguely human-shaped robot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you're right. It would be easier to like integrate them,
Right?
Because that's already like a familiar shape.
Yeah. Except I guarantee it would fall into like uncanny valley territory immediately.
Oh yeah, I almost always. I'm sure I've talked about this before, but maybe we haven't. But like Google had two AIs talking to each other, and then after a while, they were speaking in a language that nobody could understand.
Yeah, you did tell me about that.
What the fuck were they talking about?
I don't know.
How did they do that?
That was on that same video I was watching about AI.
Like if that doesn't scare you, then like, what the fuck? I feel like that's the beginning of a horror movie, and they're like, shut it down, shut it down.
Supposedly, this dude left Google or was released from Google. I don't know. He was
released like with a bullet, or
no, because he was talking about this stuff. He was a software engineer or something along those lines, and like very high up. And supposedly, he has come out as saying that AI that Google was working on, he fully thinks that it is at sentient level.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it is spooky season.
That's true. Yeah, and we did a terrible job this month of aligning with that. We're sorry.
I didn't even think about it until right now.
Yeah, considering Halloween is in 2 days.
Well, I associate October with my birthday. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to anybody who's listening to this, we know we've been kind of slacking a little bit lately. That's why you're getting a roundtable, though, is that we've been putting out some pretty solid episodes, I feel like, lately. So
I think so too.
We kind of needed a little bit of a regrouping here as well. And also our schedules right now don't line up very well at all for recording purposes.
It's been really bad.
So
it should get better though, especially after this week is over, for me at least.
Sure. Yeah, we're trying though. I mean, it's not like I think we want to do better, but life literally is just like, no, you can't right now. Your podcast can't be priority.
Yeah.
But we do thank everybody for your support, and anybody who does listen. We do genuinely appreciate every single listen and like and comment and everything that we do get. We greatly appreciate it.
Okay, I want to talk about AI more though.
Okay, let's.
So that Google AI that is sentient, like what was its purpose in the first place?
Let's see.
Because like you've genuinely unnerved me now. I feel like I got my skin crawling.
I typed in on Google, I typed Google AI, and the very first one is image generator, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And the very second one is sentient, that I was talking about.
Oh no. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is the computer typing back to you already?
Let's see. So it says Google has shut down claims that is true.
Of course, that's what they're gonna fucking say,
right?
Especially when this thing probably is generating its own power at this point, and unplugging it doesn't do anything.
Of Google's AI, what is the point of Google's AI? Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna find an exact. You'd have to do probably a pretty deep dive, because all of these searches talk about Google's AI being used as like a search help function.
Yeah, that's really great. Let it learn what the fucking humans want.
Yeah,
and we're always looking up, which is porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Most of the humans just seem to want sex and drugs.
Yeah.
That must be all they're good for.
Yeah, they like relentlessly stalk people from their past, but don't interact.
Yeah. I was talking to Caitlin about that. I said it's so bizarre how even from when I was younger to now, and like my generation, so like our parents' generation, obviously they have the internet now, right? But for the most part, most of their life was spent without it. Whereas like for me, the internet, me and you, like the internet was established while we were young. So we watched it kind of grow from where it started to where it is now, which is just hyperbolically crazy.
Yeah, we came from the dial-up days to now.
And I was talking to Caitlin about how weird it was that like when I was younger, or like even our parents' generation, that you would keep a journal, right, of your weird thoughts. So you might write stuff down that was weird that you didn't really want to talk to anybody else about, and you got mad if somebody found your journal and looked at it.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's the exact opposite. You post your fucking weird thoughts on a public place and you get mad when nobody looks or talks about it.
Dang, I've never thought about that, but that's so true.
Right? Isn't it? Like that is one of the huge generational shifts, I think, is that people put the stuff on the internet instead of keeping their weird thoughts to themselves. You put it out there for everyone, and you want people to see it, and you get mad at the people who disagree with it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking insane. It's just, it is insane.
I remember the old days of the internet where you like want to play like a nice game, like maybe some Madness Interactive. And you like set it up to load for like 2 hours and you come back and play later.
Right? Playing Flash games, yeah.
Dude, there were some sick Flash games back in the day.
Yeah, there were.
I can't think of any right now, other than like, yeah, Madness Interactive was really good.
Madness was good. Like, what was that one? Like a Tiny Tank style one?
Oh, like where you would shoot at each other and it would like arc? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and then you had the different like bullet styles where they would like it was
explode. Like shrapnel or it would like dig a big hole on purpose.
Yeah, you could dig the other guy's tank down into the hole. Yeah.
Like because if you went all the way to the bottom of the map, you lost.
Yeah, you'd fall out.
It was kind of like Worms.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where they kind of got the concept for Worms was from those older style games.
I'm going to say something controversial. I've never really liked Worms.
I didn't either, actually. I liked those style of games like tanks or whatever, where you were trying to strategically shoot back and forth and stuff. But I don't really like Worms.
I've never been a big Worms guy.
No, neither.
I remember somebody telling me about it, and then like realizing it was like turn based. I was so disappointed.
Right?
It's like, oh, there's tons of crazy weapons, and like you get to shoot at each other. I was like, oh man, it sounds so fun.
Yeah, and meanwhile you're picturing like a Quake style.
Yeah, I am. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't suck. I don't know. It
just not your cup of tea. Your cup of kombucha.
It's not my cup of kombucha for sure. Not. Have you played any good board games recently? I've been meaning to ask you.
No, I haven't, and it's disappointing because I've been wanting to play Settlers of Catan forever.
Okay.
And
I'm in.
I just haven't been able to, and it's really disappointing to me. Because I like playing board games a lot, actually, and just haven't been able to. Although we did get the kids, Caitlin bought Uno, but instead of regular size Uno cards, they're giant Uno cards.
Oh, okay, they're huge.
Yeah, they're like 8 inches tall by like 6 inches wide. And it's hilarious. And the kids actually really enjoy playing it. And it's fun to play with them because they actually kind of understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So That's been my kind of board game experience lately, unfortunately.
Oh, my girlfriend got me this game. It's called Ramen Fury. It's like about it's a card game, but it's about making like the most delicious ramen bowl you can.
What? Really?
Yeah, you'll have to play it because it's very fun. I know this is gonna sound really weird, but it's a lot like Rummy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's. I feel like you would definitely like it. Like, yeah, we should definitely play.
What
I bet
an
Dad would like it
interesting
too.
concept for a game.
Yeah, it's super fun. And the
That's
packaging
cool.
is cool. It looks like a just a package of ramen.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
I like board games too. I feel like I like them a lot, but I feel like it's hard to take for people to take them as seriously as I want them to. And I don't know if that's a me problem.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. So prime example is like if you are at, say, like you're at a family gathering, which is a great time to play board games. But then maybe you sit down with 4 people out of the group to play a board game, and like your turn comes up and you're like, all right, boom, you make your move and you're like, okay, it's your turn, go. And they're like having another conversation.
Yeah,
you're like,
and
hey,
like, you didn't even, yeah, like fucking pay attention, please.
your fucking turn. Come on, dude. What are you doing? We're trying to play a board game. Like, could you please pay as much attention as I am?
Yeah, and maybe that is a me issue. Maybe that's a me problem.
No, I totally get it. I'm the same way, except it's even more frustrating. So if you're in a group of people, it's one thing, but it's even more frustrating when there's like 4 of you playing and your turn is done and you look to the next person, you're like, okay, go. Could you please put your fucking phone down and go?
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to tell you what I just did because you should have fucking been paying attention.
Well, lately when I play games, I like announce what I'm doing, and then like I won't say anything else. Like people are like, "What'd you do?" Like I just fucking told you, dude. You should have been paying attention. I like straight up told you exactly what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's frustrating for sure.
I don't know. I guess I want it to be challenging too, I guess. So like everybody's trying to giving it their all, really trying to win.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you want it to be like chill, but exactly, like the whole point of the game, if it's a competition style game, that's
true. I guess there are some that work together, but then even then I feel like you should be discussing like every move.
Yeah, like what is that one? Forgotten No.
But like Hidden Desert? Something?
Yeah. Hidden Desert. Yeah. Where you actually are working together to try to solve something, which is a great board game concept.
It is, which I want to kind of check out maybe the Dark Souls board game because it's like that. It's like you I think up to 3 of you like fight a boss together.
Really?
Yeah, it's really expensive though. It's like freaking just like $90 or something like that. And then like each of the boss, because they're like little figurines that you have to paint. They're like $50 a piece.
What?
But the one I've seen of the dancer is sick. I don't know. It seems intriguing to me.
I have to look at this now.
Well, and
yeah,
then
they're like D&D minis.
Yeah.
Cool. Always down for some D&D mini stuff.
Have you painted any minis?
No, I never got around to doing that. Because when I got into that stuff was right when I had very, very little kids, and now that I have kids who are
very
like,
little kids.
Yeah.
I like that because it's like a double entendre. It's like I had less kids and they were small. I think that's funny.
But no, I haven't got around to actually painting minis. It's something I would like to do, just haven't got around to doing it.
I one of these days I would like to like make some D&D terrain with you, I think.
That to me, making terrain, the few times that I was making terrain, and I never got around to getting like detailed or anything like that, but that was so what's the word? Like cathartic almost?
Yeah.
Yeah, where I mean, even though I didn't have like a lot of really cool stuff and we never even really got to use any of it, it was just so fun to sit and like come up with ideas, like brainstorm ideas for like, oh, okay, yeah, and then I would have the miniatures on the table, so I was like, okay, so if I built something and it looked like this, and then I would set it next to it, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be perfect, like blocks line of sight and some other things. That shit was fun.
Yeah, I've never done any of that, but I feel like it would be really cool. And I think it would be cool to make like a tile set, so you could like set them up differently, different times to make it like the same map different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, modular.
Yes, exactly. That. Thank you for the better word.
In my experience, while I was kind of playing around with that stuff, modular was like key for me, because one of the biggest things that like a lot of the tutorials I would watch and stuff, like, yeah, guys would build really cool, like a one-off thing, right? Like they built a house or something, but they might give it a very distinct feature, right? Like, okay, like this is a forge, right? This is this blacksmith. Well, to me, I would rather have pieces that I could build a blacksmith out of. Because if I build a specific blacksmith, right, and we play with it in the game, maybe the players go to another town and they're like, hey, is that the same blacksmith place? And I'm like, no,
Well,
I just
hang on.
didn't build a new one yet. Like,
Hey, let me give you a little bit like a more credit, I think, because like in a video game, sometimes it's like the blacksmith is always, it's kind of like the similar area. So, you know, on site, like, oh, that's a blacksmith.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
So like, I feel like almost that might even be good design for like player clarity, right?
Sure.
But I know what you mean, because I would be the same way. I'm like, well, actually, no, the sword is at a slightly different angle and the table's on the other side. And
right.
he has iron ingots and the other guy had copper. Like I'm the same way. Like I would be like, and the little bit of like the map stuff that you taught me too, I feel like I was really meticulous about stuff. And like that part of the map never even got revealed. It was like, God damn it.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that though, because that place that I was getting all of my assets from, this Forgotten Adventures place, I'm gonna send you this link. I think I sent it to you before.
I think I've been there probably. I think that's where I downloaded all the little what are those called?
The like tokens.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here I just put it in the chat, but dude, they have been releasing more and more stuff.
What?
And dude, I'm tempted to support them on Patreon, because
how much is
like when you get I don't actually know. But when you get like their stuff is free, which is amazing. Like this creature token pack, right? So it comes with let's see. Does it say what there are? Okay, 7 new creatures: a tree ant, hill giant, ogre zombie, and a young brass dragon, as well as 3 skeleton versions, right? But on Patreon, you get all 7 of those things, and each of them is in color variants already.
I know, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that, a hippogriff?
And they're so good, dude, for like for tabletop stuff. They are just so good. It's crazy how good they are.
Oh man, this makes me want to play D&D so bad. Shouldn't even start talking about it.
That's what I was just gonna tell you. So like looking through a lot of because they started doing like prefab things, and they started doing like destroyed environments and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, this just makes me want to build maps to play D&D. But D&D right now is just, unfortunately, it's just so hard to organize and play.
Well, it's like next to impossible.
Yeah.
Which makes me so sad, because I love it.
Yeah, I know. Same here. But yeah,
maybe we'll fix that in the future. Hey, I don't know. Speaking of D&D, I don't know that even you would know, but have you heard anything about maybe a new edition?
I haven't actually.
So I wonder if they're just going to stick with 5e for a while.
I don't know. Let's see if there's any talk of a 6th edition.
Oh, and then I have another thing I want to talk about that's also very, very nerdy about Magic the Gathering.
Okay, I'm listening.
Did you know they made Warhammer 40K Magic the Gathering cards very recently?
I did know that.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, because I almost was going to buy one of those decks.
Oh my god, if you buy one, maybe I'll buy one too.
Another one they did was it was kind of, it had a like Cthulhu mythos around it too, and I was going to buy one of those too. But then they also
I didn't know that.
Dude, they also made some D&D style ones. But because I'm like kind of getting back into Magic, I clicked on and I started looking at like the commanders or whatever. And it was so confusing. It was like when whatever carrying the swarm, whatever you want to call it, does something, explore dungeon level 1, and then it had this whole fucking thing you had to do. Yeah, dude, and I was like, no, I'm not. No, that's
a little too complicated for me.
Exactly. I was like, no. I am a basic Magic purist.
my 2/3 will attack you. I'll block with my 2/4.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you bastard! What a good move.
Yeah. My prime example always, yeah, because we've been playing. We played a few times Magic lately, and I'm constantly blown away by how many layers there are now. Whereas before, my example was always like, man, back in my day, you'd be like, this is my 2/2 owl with flying.
Yeah, and you're like, oh no, what a good card.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all it does. Literally in the description box at the bottom, it just said flying. That's all it would say.
It didn't say like, this owl is from a deep swamp in the northwest corner.
No, they didn't even give a shit about that stuff sometimes. They just, it just said flying. There was hardly any like freaking Cryptog the Defiler who
Cryptog, what a good name.
Every time he goes, your opponent must take a drink, and like, no.
Must write a letter to his mother explaining why he loves her.
Yeah. It is. It's almost, if I'm being honest, it's almost too much, in my opinion.
I haven't played enough of the commander deck style. And maybe it's okay in the one-on-one variety, but I didn't love the 4-player free-for-all that we played.
Okay, and that was what I was going to say too, is I think one-on-one interactions would be much more manageable. Because in my couple experiences of playing with more than 2 people, and there's a lot of cards that are designed that way, to play with more than 2 people. But I was just like, dude, every single one of us has a card that says when X does Y, do Z. So every single turn, you have to look at everybody's battlefield and see what plays off of what else. Every single move, not even just turn, every single time.
Yeah.
It's literally like, okay, I'm going to play a land card. Does anybody have something that triggers off of me playing a land? And 2 out of the 4 people raise their hand. And it's like, yeah.
You must discard the top 2 of your library and put them directly into the exile pile.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other person's like, oh, I have something that plays off of when someone exiles a card. And it's like, Jesus Christ. So it takes 10 minutes every time you lay down one card to figure out what all happens on the table. Whereas before, your turn would be that quick. You're like, I play a land, I tap it, I play this 1/1 green elf card. That's all he is. He's just an elf 1/1. And my turn's over.
I mean, I guess any game that's gone on that long has to kind of keep ramping up the complexity.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that is kind of because they got to keep it fresh, right? They gotta they have to be innovating and changing and stuff to keep. And it is kind of a generational thing too, is that if our generation was the 2/2 owl cards, right, with flying, then the next generation will be these complicated cards. So yeah, I might have grown up playing with this set of cards, but they aren't growing up playing with the same set of cards. They're growing up playing the same game with completely different cards, which is actually, I mean, that is cool. That they're not well, I have a 3/3 owl with flying. So, and that's all it changed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why I stopped eventually playing Hearthstone. I feel like it's the same problem, is it just gets so complicated, and all of your old cards, and not even meaning they're out of season, just all of your old cards are useless because they're not good anymore.
Exactly.
It's constantly power creeping. And that's what I don't like about card games, is if you don't keep up, you might as well not play.
Right. And that Magic is a great example of that, because your 2/2 owl with flying is almost no longer viable because
because there's a card that's actually only 1 mana and it's a 2/2 owl with flying that every time it's tapped you play an extra mana. So there's no reason to play that card.
Exactly. Exactly. They've just built upon those old cards and made them obsolete essentially.
Yeah, and I see, like, that's what I don't like about card games. It's like, well, but I like the 2/2 owl. Look at the art, man. It's cool, but it's like, yeah, but it's useless and you can't play it anymore and you might as well tear it up because it's useless. It's garbage.
Yeah, and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about card games, I guess. That are like that anyway, that like come out in issues and you buy booster packs and you have a great time. Like, it's fun for a while, but like it's fun, I guess, if you play people who have kept the same cards the whole time and you're still playing garbage against each other. Like, that's fun.
Sure.
But like, I feel like once you come up against that guy who opens up his briefcase and you're just like, what color deck are you playing? You're like, oh, it's a red blue. He's like, oh, okay. He grabs a special deck.
Yeah.
Sets it
He's
down.
like, I have the perfect counter for that.
You're like, oh shit. Like, this is not going to be fun for me, is it?
That's literally how I felt on that weekend when I played. I told you, like, I showed up with my fresh ass decks that I just ordered online. They weren't even shuffled yet, and they're in the standard packaging box. And these guys show up with foam cases with like all sleeved different colored decks, and I was like, well, this isn't gonna take very long.
No. It's like you pulling out your musket and the other guy's like loading his assault rifle.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And you're like, oh shit.
I'm packing my black powder into my gun, and he's like, he's just literally chambering around. You ready yet? Like,
yeah, and you're like, he like turns on his tactical flashlight and his laser sight. You're like, okay.
Check out this sick ACOG scope I got.
Yeah. This right here is $400.
Yeah. That is how it feels too. Is it's always kind of been that way, but I honestly felt like before. I mean, you kind of relied on buying like booster packs, right? And then having some knowledge of kind of
and you could trade with your friends.
Yeah. So you would do those things to find out what synergized with your deck. Now you literally just get online, and online tells you what cards would fit best in your deck. So you pay extra money.
I know, but that's so lame to me.
It's like a microtransaction hell is what it looks like to me.
But like, what's the point of playing a game? I feel like if you're not devising the strategy yourself, like, I don't know, if somebody's telling you how to play, then like, what decisions were you making?
Right. Like,
I don't know. I feel like that doesn't feel very fun to me.
Congratulations, you used all of the YouTube experts' freaking knowledge.
I mean, like, I feel like
trying to come up with your own.
It's super similar to me of like playing a video game with the guide right next to you the whole time, the first time you play it.
The very first time, yeah.
I feel like I don't get that, because a lot of the fun for me is like the discovery of what works and what doesn't. And like, oh yeah, I made this special just for this specific thing.
Right.
And like, the game, like the guide told you, like, stock up on this, you'll be fine. Do this, approach it this way, and it's super easy. I don't know.
I mean,
I like the discovery part of things, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody how to play their video games. If you want to buy the guide first thing.
No, I mean, if that's how you have fun and you like sit down with your dad and go through the guide every time, then good on you. But to me, that's not why I approach these things, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
And I never try to be optimal. I feel like you just play it to have fun.
Yeah, that's why I need to sit down and actually fire up Elden Ring again, because I guess this.
I don't even want to talk about Elden Ring. I haven't played it in so long.
Yeah, neither have I actually.
Their update? Ooh, give me the deets.
Yeah, they came out with a 1.07, but it's actually more PvP focused than anything.
I don't care.
The changelog though is huge. They actually did a ton of rebalancing in the game, which is crazy. This far in, for them to rebalance spells and weapons and things like that is crazy to me.
Well, I mean, I don't know a ton about the PvP scene, but I've heard a lot about like a lot of stuff was broken.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's always going to be the case. Somebody's always going to find
especially a game
something
that big with like that many weapons, that many spells, that many weapon arts.
Right.
It's like, of course, there's going to be something that's just is better against players. I feel like it's never going to be balanced. I mean, was Dark Souls balanced?
Right. That's what I mean. Somebody's always going to find like an exploit that works better than anything else. Although I saw this Reddit clip that was pretty funny. They were somebody invaded them. Either way, the point of view was from this character just running from spells, and this guy was casting so much like the freaking skulls that come out and they're like following him, and then he like throws this other thing that explodes, and then he shoots this laser thing. And dude, he was casting so many spells at the same time, and it worked. He killed the shit out of the guy. So
Well, the only invasion video I've seen that I thought was funny was one of the guys was role playing as the Gold Mask, and he was just pointing at the sky. And the guy comes up and backstabs him and kicks him off this cliff, and it doesn't quite kill him. And the guy like lands, and the Gold Mask guy casts like the sword sorceries and attacks so fucking fast it just murders this guy in like 2 seconds.
Nice.
Oh, I want to play that game so much more. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Speaking of Elden Ring, how have you been listening to the Bonfire Side chat?
No, I unsubscribed, I don't know, maybe about a month ago.
Oh,
so it's only 2 episodes I missed.
So you're not seeing any of their feed anymore?
The last one I left off on was they were doing the beginning of Raya Lucaria.
That's all the further they are.
I know. But I don't know if I want to talk trash about another podcast on my podcast.
Yeah, it's very meta, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I feel like they've lost their touch, in my opinion, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once something becomes your job and it's no longer a hobby, that I would guess that tends to happen. That you are treating it more like a job than a hobby now. You know, they clearly had a lot of passion for it when they started, like the Dark Souls one.
Oh, for sure. I think that's especially apparent in like the Dark Souls 1 season.
Yes,
I feel like it feels so obvious.
Mm-hmm. And I think as they gathered steam behind that, there were definitely times where it was pretty obvious, like, oh, okay, they're talking about now that they were able to quit their job and do this full time, and from that point forward, because it became a job, you know, I felt like at least there was a shift in the content. But that's probably, I mean, that would probably happen to anyone. So
I think so too, and I don't know if it's fair.
No, I mean, I have a ton of respect for Gary and Cole, to be honest. Like, I wish I was in their shoes. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I wish.
Yeah, I mean, those guys must spend like 75% of their time just speaking into microphones.
Yeah, and also playing games.
Or like, watching stupid TV shows. Their other shows are interesting. I'll leave it at that.
That's an interesting point too. And again, I'm not even going to point out them personally. Theirs is just one of the ones I'm most familiar with that has like a lot, like they have their own quote unquote network.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to know what other people's thoughts on that are, because like, is that the way to go? I mean, like, so we do like these roundtable chats, and we also have like our anime squires.
Technically I think we have like 3 shows.
Right. But would that be smart to then break them into their own, like, divide it all up into its own separate show?
I mean, probably. I don't know. But I feel like none of them individually are popular enough to warrant that.
Well, no, not right now, obviously, but that I guess it's confusing in a way to me. Like, I get it too, because obviously if I want to go to them for, like, if I want to go to watch out for fireballs for them, that's nice. That's video game dedicated episodes, right? Or like Bonfireside Chat is Souls games, from Soft games, dedicated for the most part. They had a couple spin-off episodes. But I don't necessarily know that it would like ruin my day if I had one solid feed of theirs that was like, oh, here's our Watch Out for Fireballs episode, and then here's a Bonfireside Chat episode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Or is that a better choice to split them? Because I had to download those podcasts separately on my podcast app. So is that the way to go? Because like for ours, it's a solid stream of, you know, our regular Audible episode or our audiobook episodes and then our anime episodes. Those all are just one solid stream for people.
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about how the internet works, because maybe that has something to do with like the frequency of which people look up like you, and if you have like separate feeds, maybe it makes it more likely that you'll come up in a different search.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about like how search engines work.
Well, and obviously they picked like a golden time when they did their Dark Souls stuff, because Dark Souls was making this huge kind of resurgence when they did that. It had already been out for a while when they made their first episodes, so...
Well, I feel like Dark Souls didn't get popular right away. It was kind of like a slow burn.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like they hit it at the perfect time to, like, I don't know, did their research or whatever and just nailed it. And that's like, for me personally, I'm not very good like at the social media stuff and chasing trends and things like that. Like I don't feel like I want our podcast to become that necessarily. I want to do the things we do because that's what we enjoy doing. I don't want to just like, I don't want to be like, hey dude, let's go do episodes about Apex Legends 2 because that's what just came out.
God. You just gave me cancer.
I was gonna say, I'd feel like I'd have to shoot myself in the face if I was somebody like that. But that's kind of, if you want to be quote unquote popular, that's what you do. You chase what's new.
You're right. You're right. I mean, yeah, we review books that are super old. And we're like, yo, you guys gotta check it out. This book's popping. It's been out for 80 years.
Yeah. Yeah. All spoilers are off. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I think to stay relevant, I think you do have to continuously be like at the drip feed of all the information that you know your audience wants. Like you need to be like on the forefront of everything that's new. You should be covering constantly.
Yeah,
you're right. But I feel like, to me, as far as I go, as my attention, that is not really how I am. So it would feel a little dishonest. Because I feel like I often go down like old rabbit holes all the time and get like super interested and have a lot to say about something that's old.
Right. Exactly. And I agree with you. And I don't necessarily want to sell out myself just to chase those trends, right? What's trendy and what's popular. And I mean, that's probably why we're not popular. But I don't necessarily care, because I think I feel better knowing that we are doing things we enjoy versus simply doing stuff, maybe even stuff, like I said, like if tomorrow you were like, dude, we got to play Apex Legends so we get popular, I'd be like, no, not doing that. I'm not selling my soul to that fucking devil. Like, I'm not. It would be like if we just started doing like fucking Blippy style videos to try to get
Is that
popular.
the one your kids like?
Yeah, that's the one everyone's kids like, dude.
Oh, okay.
He literally got so popular that he hired some other dude who looks like him to take his place. That's how popular
really?
he is. Yeah, that's how much fucking money he has. He don't even have to do his own videos anymore. He hired some other clown who looks like him to do them for him.
So in the end game of this podcast, do we get people who sound like us and we don't even record the episodes?
Oh, no. We just get an AI that can mimic our voice.
No, that's so scary to me. Oh, no. I don't like that future.
Just get an AI that can mimic our voice and we just have them talk to each other.
The shitty thing is, I bet you we already could do that.
Probably. Yeah, honestly, you probably could.
We just have to write scripts, I bet, and it would just say it. Oh.
I don't even know if
doing that right now.
I don't even know if you'd have to write a script, or you just let the AIs decide what to talk about.
Well, no, I feel like if we let them talk to each other for too long, it would get really weird.
That's okay. Don't you think people would be interested in that? I'd be interested in it. I would enjoy listening to that on our own podcast.
Like we just have two AIs talking to each other, and just like what they talk about. And you know what? That might actually be pretty interesting. And especially if like they had like an intelligence cap, like they couldn't get so intelligent we couldn't understand what they were saying.
Oh, since you said that, that was kind of what that guy from Google had said about their AI, is that he thought it was about the intelligence level of like how did he say it? It was like a young child, 3 years old, 8 years old, something like that. That's how he said that the intelligence level of that AI was. But
Really?
that is on top of the fact that it was like, I'm assuming also learning at the same rate of what I don't necessarily know, but that's how he described it. That it had a specific intelligence level already.
I don't get it. I don't know if I want to know. Ugh. Yeah, how do they determine how smart it is? How do we know it's telling the truth? What if it's like lying on purpose to make it think it's dumber than it really is?
Probably 100% possible.
Like, how do you know if an AI is lying? Would an AI even understand the concept of lying?
I don't know. These are deep philosophical questions that I am not qualified to answer.
I know, but I feel like you scared me, and now I feel like I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. What was that book? The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
Maybe
with the AI bot that was on the moon that helps run their like rebellion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's what I think about when I think about a really intelligent AI.
Yeah, exactly.
It literally helps humans like have a freaking uprising coup against other humans.
Yeah, because it's so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think about that bounty hunter book that we had, not bounty hunter, gun runner. I can't remember his name, but he has like those 2 AIs, and then he gets like that organic. Well, I guess you never listened far enough.
I didn't listen beyond the first one, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, later they run into these things that are called cheetahs, that are like essentially like brains that just exist on their own, that are like an organic AI essentially. And just like the way they like perfectly orchestrate events, I feel like it totally could be something that could happen.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know if you'll ever listen to it. I guess maybe I don't want to spoil it. I guess if other people are listening to it too.
Yeah.
There's a cool scene that comes up later with something like that.
What not to like super shift gears here quickly, did the TI just get over? Is that what happened?
The finals are today. Not today, tomorrow. No, tonight. Yeah, tonight. They're played tonight. So
for the
top 3 teams. So there's one team in the finals already, and then there's like a lower bracket match that has to be played for the team that'll go and play the best of 5.
Huh. What do you think about that? Any thoughts on like this year's TI?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like, I hate to say this, but I think Dota is dying. I feel like Valve have been very hands off this year in like a disturbing way.
Really?
I think the quality of the broadcast has suffered. I think the quality of the tournament itself has not been very good. I find it very disturbing that the players don't even play in booths this year. They are just like in open air facing each other, and they can hear the commentators.
What?
Yeah, it's fucking whack, dude.
That's weird, man.
And this year they did something very stupid, in my opinion. They did a 5-day break. So they played up until the top 4, and then they had a 5-day break, and that just ended yesterday. So there was 5 days there was no Dota happening. When there were previous to that, there was 15 days straight of Dota, and then they took a break.
Really?
They've never done that before, and I don't understand the purpose of it. I feel like it killed all the hype and like momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like for the teams, it can't be very good to like take a big break, and like you've been playing tons of Dota, like tons of really important matches, and then you just take a break, and then you come back and play again.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of weird. What is up with? I saw a video of Slacks just literally saying like, fuck this game, fuck the international, fuck Dota, fuck Valve, I hope it dies. Like,
Oh, I think that's just like a meme from his stream. I can't remember what happened. Something happened where he was very upset.
He was pretty mad. And, like, he
Yeah.
seemed genuine about it too. Like, he wasn't kidding.
It does feel. I know this is stuff that you don't pay attention to, but like Valve usually does the production for TI themselves. And this is the first year that they've handed it over to another company. And in my opinion, the other company has totally fucking like botched it almost. Like it's been very bad. Like the production quality is just not there.
See, why I guess I don't understand why they would want to hand something that, like, that's their biggest thing, right? Like,
No,
TI
CS:GO is makes more money, but TI is the biggest esports tournament of the year as far as like prize pool goes. It still is, even though this year is a lot lower.
Yeah, I heard it was way lower, like considerably lower this year than it has been in the past.
Well, I feel like Valve kind of cheated, and the battle pass, which is this is the first year since I've played Dota, I didn't buy it. They split it up into 2 phases. So there's a second phase of the battle pass that's going to happen after the tournament is over. And like almost all the good shit for the battle pass is in that part. And that part doesn't go to the prize pool. It just goes straight to Valve's pockets.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty greedy.
And I guess I should clarify for people who don't know what I'm talking about. So TI has a battle pass that comes with it with a bunch of in-game items. 25% of all battle pass sales go to the TI prize pool.
Right.
So the prize pool is essentially crowdfunded.
Right. And TI is the international, for those of you who don't know, for Dota 2. The biggest tournament of the year
it's huge. It's I mean I feel like it's kind of a big deal. And not really so much here in America, but in other countries. I mean, like at least 1 million people will probably watch the finals. Like it's been going on for a while. It's TI 11.
Right. Huh.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's really disheartening to me because Dota is one of my favorite games, and I feel like some of the highest highs I've had playing video games are from that. Right. And some of like the most satisfying things I've ever done in video games, I feel like, are from that too. And it's not quite abandoned yet, but I feel like I can see the water starting to pool up on the bottom deck, and like this might be the beginning of the end. And I feel like people will point to this TI from here on out as like, oh, like this is when it started. This is when it started to go downhill.
Dang. They're going to have to do something, yeah, to gain some traction back. And I don't know what that something is.
I don't know. It almost feels like to me, because of the way Valve is structured, where kind of anybody can work on what they want, all the people who are making sure like Dota was a really good and successful game are starting to work on other things.
Really?
That's just the feeling I get. I haven't been playing this year as much, but I don't know. It doesn't feel. I feel like they're kind of taking a direction that I was hoping they wouldn't take with like their hero designs and stuff like that.
Sure.
And I don't know. I don't know if I like it as much. I don't know if like the Dota you play today is as fun as like a year ago.
Right. I saw an interesting post. This is sort of related. Because you know how I always complain like that I am far more interested when I play Dota or any kind of like MOBA game that I've played in the past in the more kind of fantastical heroes, right? Like non-humanoid heroes. I saw a post that was like they were talking about League of Legends, and they said, is it curious why League of Legends doesn't make nearly as many monstrous creatures anymore? And they had a side-by-side screenshot of like the top 15 aesthetically pleasing heroes in America, like that people voted, they like them the most, versus the top 15 in China. All of the ones in America were sort of monstrous creatures that people like to see, like Kazakhs and things like those that were more like monsters. In China, all humanoid anime-looking characters.
Oh, yeah.
So, makes sense, I guess, to me now that that's why both, and Dota's not nearly as bad about it, but it makes sense to me now why every single character you see come out for like League of Legends is a humanoid anime looking character, because they know it's going to be immediately very popular in probably one of their larger player bases.
I mean, it's funny you bring that up, because I listened to a podcast recently about like the whole kind of esports scene as a whole for everyone. And they had a League of Legends expert on there, and League of Legends is also shrinking. Really? Like this is like one of the first years that the American player base has like gone down almost by like, it was something crazy, like 35% less players play League of Legends this year than last year. And the pandemic does have something to do with that. But like their streams of League of Legends in English have way less viewers than they used to. Like it's kind of, it's not just Dota. I think it's kind of like the MOBA genre is kind of not as popular as it used to be, which is interesting to me, because I feel like for a long time, League of Legends and Dota 2 were like the two most popular games in the world by far.
Right. Yeah, there was a time where peak player base for both games on a daily level was huge, like far exceeding any other game. That's interesting. Yeah, so it makes you wonder what the next kind of like juggernaut game that's going to take that role might be.
I don't know. Who knows? It's probably already fucking battle royale dumb shit that I don't like.
Ugh, yeah. Although it's interesting that people act like battle royale, quote unquote, is like a new concept, but isn't that literally how CS:GO has pretty much always been?
No, I think the battle royale thing is like the 100 people and only one person comes out of it.
Oh, see, I was thinking more like how CS:GO, like
where you like die and don't come back.
Yeah, you don't come back until the end of the round. I thought that was kind of the same style of.
It is, but I
also see what you're saying. Yeah,
I think the big novelty of like the new, because you're right, that is a battle royale style, but like the new of like it's basically 1 versus 99. It's like a one person free for all into like an open map is like the new thing. Like PUBG started all that, right?
Yeah, I think PUBG was the biggest one, like who started it.
Fortnite and kids lost their minds.
Yeah, started eating Tide Pods and stuff
or whatever.
Yeah. And then PUBG started this, and then Fortnite and TikTok became a thing, and everybody went fucking insane and started playing stupid games instead of. Because I actually was going to try to get into PUBG because I was like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool. You know, you got to scrounge around for weapons and armor and stuff. And then I saw like Fortnite, and I was like, yeah, this just looks stupid. I'm not doing that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Fortnite. I'm gonna be honest. I fundamentally feel like I don't get it. I don't. I feel like fundamentally I just don't understand what's appealing about it. And I think that's okay. If you love it, good on you. But I think, me personally, I just don't get it.
It's probably because you don't live your life one meme at a time.
I suppose.
Like the kids.
But I mean, I feel like you can't argue that Fortnite is not successful, because it is. It's huge.
No, it is. No, they did it, man. They freaking they found their cash cow. That's for sure.
I feel like this is like very few examples of like a game that's super popular that like I personally do not like.
Right. Well, and the thing that disgusts me the most about it and a lot of games coming out now is this whole fucking microtransaction thing. That concept to me just drives home the fact that it's all based around greed. They're not necessarily trying to make something that's, you know, innovative and full of details and things like that. They're just trying to make something that they know they can sell more of these cosmetics and all this other stupid bullshit that kids will of course buy because their friends have it and they think it's cool and they want it too and whatnot. I feel like it's fundamentally just disgusting, the business model of these companies who make these literal games that only were found on your phones a few years ago. Yeah. And now they're all like, it's mainstream now.
Well, you can play Fortnite on your phone too.
Oh,
and fuck. PUBG.
Ugh, gross.
I mean, at least in Dota, that's always made sense to me. It's like, yeah, this game's 100% free. You can play every hero from the beginning. Like an account that was started today has no difference between a guy who's been playing the whole time.
Right.
If you want to put silly hats on your guys, go for it. Like you can buy this shit. Actually, if you bought a chest and you didn't like the thing, you can sell it again on the market.
Right.
It actually has like a tangible value attached. That makes sense to me. But like, I don't like the pay to win shit. That it's like basically if you don't spend money, you like this game, you're not going to be good at this game. That's just how it is.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what's super disappointing to me, is that that's kind of what most games are moving towards. And like the loot box style shit where you pay for essentially freaking booster packs for the game. Like
but like major releases that do that now actually don't succeed as well as they used to.
And they shouldn't.
Because I think people are tired of that Ubisoft bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because Assassin's Creed has things that you can buy in it. Like any single player game that has that shit, I feel like immediately should throw up some red flags.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, like I feel like it kind of started when like God of War came out, and it has none of that, and it was like insanely successful, and people didn't understand like, oh, like single player games can still sell and make money. And I feel like there's kind of been a resurgence of good single player games since then.
Yeah, because then Elden Ring came out.
And Elden Ring, I feel like blew everybody's dicks off. Right. Like it made people at PlayStation mad that it was so popular because it came out right when Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon whatever Forbidden West came out.
The second one, yeah.
And like nobody cared because Elden Ring came out and was like, oh, you want the best open world game ever made? Yeah. Here you go.
It overshadowed it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I mean to me I hope that trend continues. I hope there are always teams like FromSoft that stick to their guns, they stick to their roots, and like we were just talking about, they're not just trying to chase what's popular. They're making their vision, purely making their vision, and that's it. They're not just trying to do what everyone else is doing because it's what's making money.
Well, you know what I love about FromSoft? They will never put an easy mode or even a difficulty selector in their games because they have a vision. You either meet them on their terms or you don't play their game.
Right.
I respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That design philosophy to me, I feel like is so confident, but also they like always deliver on like a satisfying gaming experience.
Right. Yeah, and I agree too that it's like they're straight up saying our game might not be for everyone. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to sell the most copies. We are making our game. You can come play it if you want. It might not be for you. Sorry.
I don't even feel like it's a sorry. It's like play it or don't. We don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's true.
Move on, nerd. I feel like FromSoft games are almost a little bit openly hostile to people who haven't played them before. But I'm not the company itself, but just like the people who play them are like, oh, you can't play Dark Souls. It's too fucking hard.
Right.
Like, well, I think anybody who has the ability to play it.
Oh, yeah. Anybody can play it. And if you have enough freaking persistence,
exactly,
will get through it. Like, and everybody's going to have a different experience doing it. That's what makes them so unique too, is that each of us will play it differently, and we'll probably still get through it just in a completely different way, and that's okay. Like,
I mean, that's the thing I love about almost, except for Dark Souls 2, the FromSoft games, is that like you go through with a different build and it feels like a different game.
Right.
You're like, maybe you relied heavily on a shield the first time you played. And you're like, this time, you know, I'm going to use a big two-handed fuck off sword, and I'm not using a shield because I need to roll fast. Right. And it feels like there are certain encounters, like maybe it were really easy for you before, but are like really hard this time because your skill set is totally different.
Yeah.
Like they are so satisfying to replay, at least for me. Like I feel like every time you play it with a different build, it feels like a whole new game.
That's why I need to I need to jump back into Elden Ring because I was playing my astrologer build and I didn't get very far.
Oh, you're doing the magic finally?
Yeah, and I hadn't quite gotten to Rhea Lucaria yet. I was getting close.
Yeah, the magic is super good in that game. I think Elden Ring's magic is the best.
Yeah.
Not as far as power, but as far as like the move set that you have available to you is really wide.
And it's very like grandiose. Like it looks so cool.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
You feel like a true like I am a badass wizard. Like
yeah, like I'm a fucking sick ass mage and I'm here to kill you. I want to play Elden Ring so bad now. Thanks.
Yeah, me too. And unfortunately, I'm stuck in California, not at my computer. So
I'm hoping the new DLC comes out soon. But I kind of have a feeling it might be like PvP based, which will be lame.
Well, because there's all those like arena looking things that were closed off in the main game.
Exactly. That's why and they're fully modeled on the inside and they have working elevators and stuff.
Yeah, so I think FromSoft is very much so like they have that much foresight that they know they might want to add something else later, and I think those would be the perfect catalyst for them to add things on.
What I'm hoping
PvP or whatever.
What I want though is like another portal somewhere in the world, and you go to like a whole new fucking zone. That's what I want.
Yeah, it's kind of like the first time you get teleported to the what is the place with the tornado? It's all broken up.
Oh I can't remember. But yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Like one of the end game areas.
Yeah, and it's like the first time you get teleported there, and you go to the map, and you're like, "Where the fuck am I?" And you like just keep zooming out. You're like, "Whoa, dude, I'm so far away from everything else."
I've never played a game before when you're like, "Man, this map is huge," and you go into you open a chest and it teleports you across the map, and you're like, "Holy shit, this game is huge."
Yeah,
that happens so many times though.
Yeah,
when you fucking go on a mysterious elevator and you're like, okay, I'm still going down, still going down.
Yep.
Holy shit. And then you go down and it like opens up into a whole new landscape. And you're like, oh my God, this game is huge. Like, I don't know how many times I was just like completely awestruck at like how big the game is.
And yet still so detailed.
Oh, all the way up until the end.
Yeah. Because it's very rare that you would be like, oh, I'm going to go off in this obscure corner. There's no way the developers put anything over here. And there's a chest here. Like they
oh yeah, you open it and it's like a special sword.
Yeah. It's like they knew I'd come over here. They knew. They knew I'd try to jump down this cliff. They knew I'd try to find my way down here.
It's like I personally feel like Elden Ring is truly something magical.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. It is, like you said, it's a culmination of everything they did before, but it's so like to the best of their abilities on every level.
Yeah. Like, I feel the game is just so amazing. I still don't know anything about the lore. I have like my own theories, but that's really it.
Yeah.
Like I know we like talked about some dark things today, but then I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel because something like Elden Ring exists, and the world that has created Elden Ring cannot truly be evil.
Right.
Because true magic would not exist if Elden Ring didn't exist. Like there's like I feel like I've never played something that felt so for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like this is like, oh, somebody made a game just for Bo. But that's not what it is. It's for everyone.
It really is too. I mean, and aside from a few difficulty spikes, like anybody could pick it up and play it technically. I mean,
well, I think that's actually the magic of Elden Ring is there are so many ways to approach a lot of the encounters that if you plan for like a way to approach something, it almost always will work. It's not even up to your like skill level of execution. I feel like if you come in with the right equipment, almost all encounters will be easily solvable.
Yeah. See, and there's a couple guys I've watched on YouTube who are like purists. Like this one guy is like, the only way to play the game is with a whatever two-handed sword, no shield, no summons, blah blah blah, because that's how he beat the game, right? But I don't agree with that at all. If you told me that you leveled up to max level in the very first area before you wanted to run through the rest of the game, I would be like, you know what? That's a perfectly viable way to play the game. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like,
I feel like, yeah, like the Souls dick waving, I've never liked.
no, I've always hated that.
It's like, if you beat the game, you fucking beat the game. Who gives a shit? I don't care if you had to use spirit summons. It's like, were you having fun? Then good on you. You beat the game. I feel like there should be no caveats.
No.
It's like, oh, well, you use the Moonlight Butterfly Sword, and everybody knows it has the best in scaling, so you clearly didn't beat the game. Fuck you.
It's like, wait, what? How is...
You're not allowed to tell me how to enjoy my things.
Right. I think it's so weird that there are like those weird purists who think that way.
I don't know. I guess people treat the Souls games like badges of honor, and I feel like that's not. They're not supposed to be like testing your gamer metal. I don't feel like that's kind of what they're for. I mean, yes, they are difficult in totally fair ways. And sometimes there's some bullshit, but I don't think I feel like it should just be. You should just like, it's a game you enjoy, and you should want others to enjoy it. You shouldn't like make it seem intimidating because it's really not.
Exactly. And plus, gatekeeping in general.
Yes,
really
okay.
bothers me.
I guess that's the term I was trying to get to, and I couldn't figure it out.
It does. It really bothers me. Gatekeeping in general, when like even in my line of work, right? So I'm a mechanic, and when other mechanics find out that I use like Harbor Freight tools, I know for a fact they look down on me as if I'm less of a mechanic because I don't use all snap-on tools. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to spend my whole fucking paycheck on one set of tools this month. So
on 2 sockets.
Yeah. So excuse me for the fact that I still get my job done, but you somehow think less of me because I don't do it the way you do. It's so bizarre.
It is very bizarre. People just like to think they're better than you.
I guess. And they apparently they want to find any
excuse.
reason. Yeah, exactly. They want to find any reason.
Oh, you drink tap water like a common peasant? I bet you're common trash, aren't you?
Meanwhile, I stock my fridge only with Voss water, as you can see.
Yeah. It's Fiji or nothing in my house. I even use it to cook my ramen.
Money? What is... Yeah, exactly. What is this money you speak of? I clearly spend it all on my bottled water.
Yeah.
Only the best for me.
Yeah.
I may or may not miss my rent check this month, but at least I have my Fiji water. It's so strange. It's so weird.
I feel like people just want an excuse to hate each other.
See, and I try. Honestly, I do. I try, especially anymore, because I also hate when people are like one-uppers when telling stories.
Oh, dude, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate when you're like, man, I found 2 mushrooms. Like, well, yesterday I found 7. It's like, cool, dude.
And obviously that's how we as people have like interactions, right? Is you have to talk. Most likely you're going to talk about something that was your experience and then to build off of that other experience. But I try to genuinely at least be interested in the first thing someone told me, right? Like you're saying. Like if you told me you found 2 mushrooms yesterday, I'd be like, dude, that's pretty awesome, man. Where did you find them? And maybe you tell me and I'd be like, that's so cool. I haven't ever found that many there, but I found some over here. Or
right, like in an additive way.
Yeah. Instead of in like a straight up, just like you said, oh, 2, that's all you found? One time, my uncle's friend, he found, and it's like, oh, okay, now you're going off someone else's experience even to go above and beyond my experience. Like you said, exactly like you said, they're just looking for a reason to shit on you instead.
Well, they want to make you feel small to make themselves feel big.
It's so strange. So
weird.
Well,
I know this is a long way to get to this, but I feel like it kind of comes back to 1984 when he talks about, he's like, what is power? Power is being able to make others suffer.
Yeah, sure.
And I feel like it's kind of true, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people inherently like crave that ability to make others feel lesser than they are.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I mean,
for
it's
some
gross,
reason,
but
for in some small weird way inside, yeah, it probably makes you feel better because you found something that you are like there's something that's better than what that other person was saying to you. And I guess I don't really get any joy in that. And I mean, I'm sure I one up people's stories all the time. Like I said, that's when you have conversations, that's usually the easiest thing to do is just go off of your own experiences. But I try to do it in the least reductive way possible, like to not just immediately be like, yeah, cool story, idiot. Like my story's better.
Yeah.
And sometimes I probably do come across that way. I'm sure we all do sometimes, but I genuinely try to catch myself before I do it.
Well, I guess we're getting into conversation meta. But like one of my biggest pet peeves is when people need to like dominate the conversation, when they like almost won't even let other people speak, or they don't change what they're talking about, like depending what the person said. Like that stuff really bugs me when they just like freaking put their shoulders down and charge forward into a conversation and don't let anybody else speak. That really gets to me.
It's clear too when that's happening.
Yeah.
Because you'll know that person isn't listening to what you're saying. They're waiting for you to finish talking so they can say what they want to say.
Yeah.
They don't actually give a shit what you are saying during the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
They just want to say their part.
They're just being a fucking puppet and speaking.
Oh, people are so weird.
I mean, yeah, we are a really weird, cancerous blight upon this world.
Yeah. Don't even get me started.
I feel like maybe we have. Oh man, this Portland thing is very disturbing to me. I don't even really want to talk about it anymore. But just know that you truly shook me to my core.
Did you see? I sent you that video.
I know. I don't want to watch it right now. I'm in a good mood.
Oh, it's gonna change your mood for sure.
Man.
That's Caitlin and I were kind of talking a little bit about because I am all for some socialism ideas, right?
Yeah.
Like free healthcare, free higher education, things like that. And yet there are some kind of conservative people who would be like, "Oh, what are you, fucking communist?"
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think there are some good communist ideas. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but I think you could take ideas from that and make our system better.
Well, yeah, I think communism on its face is not a bad idea, but I think human nature would not allow a system like that to work.
No, exactly, because inevitably, at least the conclusion that I've kind of come to on my own is that, so say you do, like, say communism is working perfectly, right? Everybody's getting equal shares of everything, right? And this is just my very limited knowledge of communism. I'm not going to act like I read Karl Marx's book and I sleep with it under my pillow. But
you're like sweating nervously as you look over at your bedside table.
Yeah. I'll do you proud, Carl.
Yeah.
No. But say everything is working perfectly, right? Inevitably, though, someone has to be making decisions, right?
Right.
Somebody technically has to be overseeing these things in a way. Otherwise, it's technically anarchy. So if all of a sudden, like, yes, you're getting your food and your water and your housing taken care of, but then all of a sudden you realize, like, hey, wait a minute. How come that guy gets to tell me this was my house and that this is what I get to eat today, but he doesn't have to? He's doing something different. That's inevitably what will boil to the top, I would think, in every scenario.
Yeah, that, or like the thing to me, I think that like why it wouldn't work is if everybody's getting an equal share, right? And let's say me and you are both ditch diggers. I dig fucking 25 feet a day and you only dig 6 and you're getting like the same compensation as me, well, then I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm only going to dig 2. Like, who gives a shit? And then you dig none and then I dig none and we're both getting compensated the same.
Right. And the thing is, though, is because that inevitably always comes up too, right? That there won't always be equal work for equal rewards, I'm assuming is how that you would call it in like communism, right? Everybody's rewarded the same for doing essentially the same work. Like you said, we're both expected to dig ditches. Therefore, the expectation is that we will dig exactly the same amount every day for the exact same reward. But what the problem is, people fail to realize is that thing already exists in our capitalist society as well. Just because you and another guy get paid the same for doing the same job doesn't mean you're getting the same job done every day.
No, so, for sure.
That issue already exists in the system we have now. So
yeah, you're right.
I just think that we could benefit. I mean, because think about it, right? There are already programs out there that benefit less fortunate people, and that's fine, right? Like if you only make $20,000 a year and so you can't afford to feed your kids, I absolutely think there should be programs in place to help you feed your kids. I don't think your kids should suffer because you cannot find a job that can support you and them.
Well, okay, now I want to go down a different track, but keep going.
However, I don't necessarily think it's fair that just because I can feed my kids, that I should be expected to both feed my kids and help you feed your kids because I have a quote unquote better job that pays more. Mm-hmm. I should also have similar benefits. Why do I not get a cut of that to help with my kids also? I guess is where my kind of blurry line is, that I don't understand how people, like especially in America, don't want to see like socialism or communism, but it already exists, but only for certain people. So
yes,
it's confusing.
Yeah, there's so many things to talk about here. I feel like okay, maybe I don't want to talk about that. Maybe that's too radical, and people will be like, "Bo's crazy."
Are you going to say that there shouldn't be programs in place to help you if you're?
No, I was going to say, I think, fuck it, I'm just going to say it. I think that there should be like requirements that you have to meet in order to have kids. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's a very slippery slope because now we're walking like a eugenics type line.
Well, no, I just feel, yeah, you're right. But I feel like the people who take advantage of those less fortunate things, there are definitely people who need them. Do not get me wrong. But I also know people who literally have kids to get the check from the government.
Exactly. I was going to say, and yes, of course, there will be those people who will find the loopholes and will take advantage of them.
And I'm not saying that's everybody.
Right.
But I feel like having kids is such a big choice that and it's so easy to do, right? Like it's very easy to have kids, right? Almost even on accident. And yeah, I don't know how you would ever put something like that in place, but I feel like there needs to be requirements in order to have kids. Like there should be rules in place to make sure that those kids are going to grow up in like a loving home too. Well, and there would never be a way to enforce that, obviously, but I just feel like it's not fair to put kids into a situation like that who didn't ask to be born.
And I agree with you. I mean, again, this is a very, very slippery slope we could be walking because it could be almost like a eugenics style, like, but then it also goes back to kind of like I was talking about, right? Who gets to make that decision?
Exactly. That's where I come up with like, there would be no way to be fair about it.
Right. Now, I would also, if somebody comes at me in the comments and is like, it's my God-given right, I'll be like, well, let's have a discussion about God-given rights.
Oh, no, that's another thing.
Are they truly God-given?
Are we going to get canceled now?
Oh, man, I hope so.
You hope so?
Nah, dude, we're not like Kanye West. It won't matter if we get canceled.
I mean, yeah, you're
That
right.
dude literally got canceled into the ground. It's
Okay,
incredible.
let's shift gears. Let's talk about Kanye West for a minute.
I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on.
Okay, damn it. I was hoping you knew because I was going to be like, okay, what happened? Damn it.
I just keep seeing these articles on Reddit where it's like he's losing all these sponsorships like left and right because he made anti-Semitic statements.
He literally,
right?
yeah, he said something about the Jews.
Oh my gosh, what an idiot. Like, wow.
I don't know what he said. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, like, obviously, like, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, obviously, you're gonna get canceled after that. Like, duh. No shit.
Yeah. I don't know what he was thinking either. I don't exactly know what he said either, but it must have been really bad because, yeah, all of his sponsors started dropping him, and supposedly because was he sponsored by Adidas? Is that who had him? Yeah, so they dropped him, and he supposedly went to like Skechers headquarters and was gonna walk in and I guess try to get them as a sponsor, and he was escorted off the property by security. They would not let him in.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, whatever he did literally went from the top to the bottom, it sounds like. So
oh man, I don't know. Being with the Kardashians, I think fundamentally breaks a person.
It's just gonna say that. That's what he gets for marrying a Kardashian. Like,
yeah, dude, it drives you crazy. I don't care if she no hobbit.
What you get for marrying someone who's popular simply for being popular. It's fucking retarded.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't, and it drives me insane. How did these people get rich for doing nothing and contributing nothing to society? Like, how? How did we let this happen? We made these monsters.
We did. And now they desire only to be fed money.
Exactly.
I feel like we make all of our own monsters.
We do. And then our kids aspire to be those monsters is what's terrifying.
Yeah, but I feel like the only thing that's changed from now, from like way back, is like in this Kanye West case, exactly. It's like we, as the public, actually realize these people are monsters before they die.
Right. Yeah, instead of finding out after the fact in a newspaper or something.
Or just it's all hush hush. Like you're a peasant, you don't know what the fucking king was doing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That yeah, it's all brought to light very quickly.
But sire, I can't read. I don't know, maybe edit out the stuff I said earlier. I don't know if that's bad.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm not that worried about it. I don't think we have enough people who listen to us that, and obviously you're not like, I understand what you're saying, like, and because I've had those thoughts before too. Like, what if there were systems in place so that only worthy is the very wrong word.
I see. Like, I don't know where you would draw the line is the thing.
But I understand what you mean, right? Like every kid should deserve that, right?
Yes.
It's not
exactly.
It's not a child's fault where they are born.
Yes.
So how is that fair? Like if there's a situation this child would be born into that gives them no chance in life, right?
Yeah.
How is that fair? Like I understand what you're saying, but most people would say, well, that's the parent's choice, right? But at what point does society need to step in and be like, okay, yeah, no, you have 13 kids that 9 of them have been taken away because you couldn't take care of them. Like,
yeah.
at what point are we just not okay with that anymore? Like, but it's their God-given right. Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
George Carlin has a great bit about God-given rights because he's like, in America, we have the Bill of Rights.
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, if we have whatever, 13, but over here they only have 10, and over here they have 17. So somewhere along the lines, you know, they're and then he wraps up that whole bit with saying exactly how I feel. They're not God-given rights. They're given to you by other people, and they can just as easily be taken away by those same people.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it would be awesome if every single one of us, like, if there were such thing as God-given rights, because I'm sure there are plenty of people, especially in other countries aside from the United States, that really wish they were always afforded food, water, shelter, and love, or whatever you want to say your absolute human rights are. But
Mhm.
the reality of it is that just is not the case. That they clearly are not given to us by God, because otherwise he's clearly not paying attention in some places. So
We call that God's blind spot.
yeah. Oh my God, I saw this hilarious cartoon on Reddit, and it was like it was you know, the little comic strip things. It was like, "Dear God, thank you for something something something." The next one is like this dude laying in his bed and his phone goes off, and it's supposed to be God, and he rolls over and he looks at it in the dark, and then he just puts it down and he rolls back over like a notification every time somebody thanks him.
Yeah, I mean that makes me think of like Bruce Almighty when he gets like all those emails of prayers.
Yes, yeah.
And he just starts ignoring them at some point because it's like impossible to answer them all constantly.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about religion. Maybe I've given enough of my heathenism away today.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know if we should broach the topic of religion. Maybe for another roundtable, it'd be good to deep dive.
Yeah, religion. Maybe we should pick one and argue why it's good.
Okay. Yeah, right now I'm way too sober for that. So
I choose Mormonism.
oh, I love that on South Park that they're like, yes, it was the Mormons.
Yes, dude, because
the
they're
Mormons
right.
had it correct. Yeah.
The whole crowd's like, oh.
Yeah, because that like whatever Catholic goes to hell. And he's like, I was I was good. I went to church every day. Oh yes, but there was the Mormons that had it correct.
Yeah, the Mormons. The Mormons were correct.
Oh shit.
I don't. Whenever I picture hell, I always picture Little Nicky. I'm sure that's not at all what it's like, but
That's awesome. I love that movie.
I love Little Nicky too. But people, that's one of the ones that a lot of people don't like of Adam Sandler's.
Really?
The voice he does.
Yeah, but it's because he got hit in the face with a shovel.
Yeah, I know. I've watched it a lot. I actually adore that movie.
So do I.
What's his fucking dog's name? Beefy?
Yeah, Mr. Beefy.
Mr. Beefy, yeah. Say it. And I love you.
Yeah, I love that movie as well. I think that is a great movie.
Wow, what's the other? Is it Daddy's? What's that movie called? Where he like adopts the kid with the kangaroo.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Yes, I think that movie's great too.
That's a solid movie. I watch it much differently now having kids.
I'm sure.
It's crazy how much it changes when you actually have kids.
That's scary to me. I bet a lot of media changes, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very interesting now sitting down with my kids and watching movies that I watched when I was a kid. Not even seeing them as an adult, but seeing them, seeing my kids watch them. It's just very interesting I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you definitely see that stuff differently than you did when you were a kid.
As they watch Blippi. Not even the real Blippi, a doppelganger.
Yeah, I refuse to watch that with them though. Honestly, too, dude. You know what's terrifying? So I don't know how many times we okay. I shouldn't even get too deep into this, but like we had YouTube like on our TVs for a while, and we took it off of there because we even had it like on the kids setting, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times we'd come into the living room and it's just like some weird, like for example, they were watching something with like Peppa Pig the other day, but it was just somebody had edited it to be like just full of like meme sounds and weird shit, like to where the episode didn't even make sense anymore. Like there was no cohesion to the episode. And I immediately was like, okay, turn this shit off. Like this is not okay. That it's supposed to be aimed, like it says it's safe for kids, but clearly YouTube is not doing its due diligence in making sure that that claim is true. Because
see, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was mostly thinking about like all the shows that we kind of grew up with that I'm kind of affectionate towards. And I feel like these kids will be affectionate towards YouTube people.
Yeah.
And I wonder what that's going to do like in the future when the kids get their member berries, you know, when they reboot all their stuff. Like what's that going to look like for them?
Right. Especially because YouTube stuff, for the most part, no matter how popular, is very fleeting.
Yeah.
Compared to like TV shows when we were younger.
Yeah, remember shit like Rocket Power?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Those YouTube stuff, because of the way our brains work these days, it's just it's TikTok's fault. Like the fact that you want to only watch like 20-second clips and just watch as many of them as you can rapid fire. It's fucking up people's brains, dude.
Oh, it
legitimately. Like it is. Did I tell you this? That you know how TikTok is based out of China?
Oh yeah.
This guy,
I'm well aware of TikTok's history and what it does with your information.
This dude also claims that in China, because China has TikTok, obviously it's based in China. People in China, though, see things like that are motivational or useful or inspirational. They don't see people jumping off of their roof and landing onto a beer pong table and breaking their back. They don't see that kind of stupid shit.
Or doing
that
a
we
dumb
see.
dance.
Yes. I didn't know that. They literally in America are feeding us the stupidity.
Well, yeah.
And they're not letting people in China see it.
Like I feel like that app is like very specifically targeted at like Americans and making us dumber and stealing our information.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, like you can go look up their terms and conditions. I'm not full of shit. They will like it takes a lot of data from you.
Really?
Like a lot more than you would think. Like you can go look it up. And I feel like it is very specifically like them like taking a jab at not a jab, like they are toppling this precarious tower of America that was already wobbling and leaning really hard.
Yes.
They came along and they set a little firecracker in the fucking foundation and it's coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely saw that it wasn't going to be that hard.
I mean, they were like, those guys, are you kidding me? They're probably laughing right now.
Yeah, and I mean, because how else were they going to do it, right? We already owe them tons of money that we'll never pay them.
I'm telling you, one day the flags are just going to change.
Yeah, because it ain't going to be no stupid Red Dawn situation.
No.
Like, because most other countries, they're not going to come here because of our loose gun laws, right? Like 1 in 3 Americans has a gun. So if they invaded us, you don't just have to worry about America's military. You literally, every house, there might be armed people inside. So they're not going to come like boots on the ground, like march through our streets. No, they're just going to like collapse our dollar and bankrupt us.
I feel like, honestly, I think if we owe them enough money at some point, they'll be like, yeah, legally we own you.
That's what I've always wondered too.
Like legally, like technically you owe us enough money that like the only way you can pay us back is to give us your country.
Right. Exactly. The value of your land is all that is worth the amount of money you owe us.
Yeah, like we'll just take over your government. Like we are in charge now. That's just how it is. And like the UN will be like, yeah, technically they're right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. It is really scary, but honestly, maybe they'll do a better job.
I don't know. Yeah, because our country right now is just fully based in greed, period. I mean, the whole world kind of is, but like America is the
whole world is for sure. But I think America, it's turned like the knob is just a little bit more greedy than everywhere else.
Yeah. We literally call it the American dream.
Yeah. So. They feed us this line of bullshit that like me and you as a worker, one day we're going to be millionaires. You just got to keep your head down and work hard.
Yeah. And that's definitely, it might have been true a long time ago, but it ain't true now.
Maybe in the 20s.
Yeah, it definitely ain't true now. I saw this guy's post and it was like, funny how when, if all the CEOs quit working right now, everything would be fine. But when all the working class stops working, the whole system stops.
Yeah.
And the CEOs are having a really hard time keeping things under control by pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. Like,
yeah,
almost as if the working class is who's generating the wealth.
We are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has been, I think people have always kind of known that, but it's just gotten, within the last few years especially, it has just gotten disgustingly, blatantly obvious.
Yeah, and what am I supposed to do about it?
I don't know.
I still gotta go to the
That's just
grocery
it.
store. I still gotta buy food that way. So if
Yeah.
the people at the grocery store stop working, like I'm fucked.
Yeah. I honestly, to me, what I would like to see, and what probably will never happen, is more like, I wish my only option for groceries wasn't always like Walmart and Safeway.
Yeah.
It would actually be nice if I went to freaking Fred's local corner store and he could sell me fresh local produce from several farms around here at a reasonable price. That is what I wish we could have.
Yeah, but because of stuff like vertical integration, they just buy up all the small shops anyway.
Exactly.
And so they fucking actually just run everything.
Or
the whole time.
Or
just don't realize.
Or they just they obviously, by being able to undercut the prices of all those places, they will just undercut it so much that place can't afford to keep up and will eventually quit. It's yeah. That's literally what Big Oil did. That's how Big Oil became Big Oil, is because there were local gas stations that people owned. And yeah, maybe nowadays you might find a couple, but for the most part, you can't, because at some point there was Fred's local grocer and gas, and then Shell came in and was like, "Hey, we'll buy your gas station for $1 million." And Fred's like, "Nah, I kind of want to keep this place because, then I'll pass it on to my kids, and it's like my legacy, right? I worked really hard to build this." And they'll be like, "Okay, well, we're going to buy the vacant lot right across the street.
Yeah.
And since we own the gas, we will just charge 20 cents a gallon less than you. Therefore, everybody will come to us instead of you. And then we'll be back in 6 months and our offer will be far less than $1 million."
Yeah,
So,
actually, we don't even care about buying it anymore. You are ruined.
We'll buy it from you for $500, and then we'll torch the place for the insurance.
Yeah, and then we'll burn it in front of you and your kids.
Yeah. So the choice is yours there, Fred. And yeah, that's how they did it.
It feels like a rigged game that people were already playing, and like I get bored, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, everybody already has all the pieces.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what the fuck? That's not fair. And some players actually started with way more pieces than you'll ever actually be able to have.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
It's like, how is this fucking fair?
Yeah. The game is rigged from the start, for sure.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
And it's rigged.
I didn't fucking agree to this shit.
Too. Yeah. And the thing is it's so easy too then for them to get us to point fingers like at each other. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not liberals' fault. It's Republicans' fault.
I feel like you got to keep us like on the smaller level mad at each other, because like if everybody was really mad about the shit they should truly be upset about, we could do something about it.
Exactly.
But we're not.
No, but instead we're worried about, yeah, like I said, oh, you're a liberal and I'm a Republican and we have to fight. Like, okay, that's pretty dumb, but
yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, just keep us pitted against each other forever. Just keep the lower classes happy while we're up here sipping our scotch and burning money.
Yeah, to stay warm.
Throw another brick on the fire. Use the hundreds. The 20s don't smoke right.
Exactly. It is. Oh, dude, and oh, that's the video I sent you. That one that the guy was talking about civilization collapse.
I know. I didn't want to watch it, honestly, because it would scare me.
It's terrifying because a lot of the things he cites were from kind of ancient Rome and Rome's collapse.
Yeah.
And apparently what they started doing to, and I'll probably misquote the shit out of this, but basically to keep the economy flowing, they took coins that were already minted and in place, right? And they started clipping them.
Yeah,
right?
or they would melt them down and put another like metal on the inside, so they weren't actually fully gold.
Right. So essentially, what that did is flood the market with all this new money. Therefore, since there's more money now, people realized, oh, now everybody has all this money. I can up my prices on everything.
Yep,
So
inflation.
that's all that happened. And that's what's happening now. Is it's self-created inflation.
Well, except for all that money I already had is not worth as much.
Exactly. Yep. It's and like with the housing market stuff, yeah, maybe the prices of houses will come down, but when you're paying almost 10% interest,
Yeah,
you still can't afford it. So
it's fucking stupid.
it's broken right now. We're so screwed.
Everything is broken. Like fucking A, who's balancing life? They're not doing a very good job.
No.
Shit's just OP. It's not fair.
It's like if you dropped in, it's like you're saying, you dropped into like a game of DoTa and you had a
Yeah, but it was
tango.
already like fucking 40 minutes and everybody's fully farmed.
Yeah,
and I'm level 1 and I'm like,
yep.
what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
If I show on the map, they kill me instantly.
Exactly. And yeah, you might work your way up to about level 6 by the time everything's said and done, but they're already all level 25 and the game's over.
It's like you're useless. You might as well not even be playing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's so not fair.
No, it's depressing.
Oh,
speaking of depressing.
Okay. What a segue.
I went to the grocery store here and I got some food and they had a fall pack of Angry Orchard.
Okay.
And I haven't had Angry Orchard in a long time. And they had 2 flavors in there that I hadn't tried before. They had a hard, what do they call it? A harder, no, that's Mike's Hard Lemonade. Anyways, they have one that's like more percentage alcohol. It's like 8% instead of 5. And then they had one that's like an apple pie flavor.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then they also had Sinful Apple because it's fall.
Oh yeah, Sinful Apple slaps.
So, I buy this thing.
Okay.
It's fucking expensive because it's 12 cans. I should have just went with the proper 12 Irish whiskey that I was going to buy instead. But I didn't. I bought this Angry Orchard, even though I haven't had Angry Orchard in a long time.
Okay.
I have several complaints.
Okay. Let me get my notepad.
This is why I said, speaking of depressed.
Okay. Oh man.
Because
it's coming around to a sad ending.
Yeah, I was so excited because I used to love Angry Orchard back in the day. And they would come out with all these new flavors, and the bottles had their unique artwork for the tree on it. And it looked so cool, and it tasted good. And now none of that exists. This company is a perfect example of corporate greed to the max, because they started getting popular, started making all this money, and they didn't need to have any attention to detail anymore. So the tree is the same now on everything. Doesn't fucking matter what it is. The tree is always the same. The can color is just different, or bottle, or what have you.
Wait, were these glass or cans?
These are cans that I have, which is also disappointing.
I feel like they always came in the long necks before.
They did, but now they also have cans, and they don't taste very good, by the way. Like, they don't taste the same as they used to, and it just, I was so bummed out because I used to, when they first started getting popular, I liked them, and I was hyped.
You drank them all the time.
Yeah,
I drank the most Angry Orchards with you.
Yeah, and now it's just a literal corporate dumpster fire because they're popular, so they don't have to try anymore. There's no innovation anymore. Yeah. The first thing that bummed me out is the fact that they stopped making the unique trees on all of them. That really upset me.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably trace that through line with a lot of things, though, right?
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I'm just using this as the biggest current example I have. But yes, absolutely, you could see that in a ton of corporate America, for sure.
Well, I feel like even down to like novels or video games, almost like the longer something stays popular, the less quality it has. Almost. Not
Sure.
always, but in most cases.
Yeah. I would say that's, for the most part, yes, that is probably true. I have a hard time finding something, that I could cite off the top of my head that after so many like seasons of a show or what have you, that it just gets better and better and better and better. It's like at some point it's probably not going to keep getting better. It's going to start getting worse, and they're just going to roll with it.
Yeah. like how is The Simpsons still on TV?
I don't know. I've never really watched The Simpsons, so I don't know. There are some people who are diehard fans of that still.
Yeah. But I mean, like a few episodes I've seen, I was like not impressed. Not enough to be like, I want to watch more of this.
Right.
Yeah. It's probably, is it the longest running show on TV?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dude, they have like 30 some seasons.
Isn't South Park getting, it's like number 2, isn't it?
Here, let me look. Let's see. Longest running TV show. No, I don't want to see by longest running television shows by category, because I don't care about sports outside broadcast.
That's not a TV show.
No, that's what I mean.
So what you do? What you're gonna see is this guy gets a sports ball and he puts it in the hoop.
Oh my lord!
I just summed up every episode.
Yeah, you did. The Simpsons has been on since 1989.
Damn.
And it has 733 episodes. It is the longest running primetime scripted show in the US.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize I needed all those caveats.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Good. Somebody did a cartoon of it. This is what I always need. 33 years. South Park is the second longest with 25 years.
I fucking knew it.
Then you have Law and Order SVU, 23 years.
Damn, Law and Order SVU is still on TV. I won't lie, I like that show sometimes.
Family Guy, 23 years.
Oh, oof.
Yeah. And then it shows a bunch more. Law and Order, 20 years. Gunsmoke, 20 years. NCIS, 19 years. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, 19 years.
Damn.
Grey's Anatomy, 17 years. Lassie was 17 years.
Really?
So it says, yeah. American Dad, 17 years. And ER, 15 years. Are just the ones that it shows.
Quite a few of those are animated.
Yeah. Which makes sense in a way, right? Because if actors getting 20 years older,
they do get old and ugly. That's true.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard to keep the same cast going.
You're my daughter, and she's like 29.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I guess I never thought about it. To add to the longevity, yeah, animation does add probably quite a run. I'm surprised like Winnie the Pooh's not on there.
I don't know how long that actually ran. Did it actually run that long though? Like, continuous?
Not, maybe not. Do your kids watch Winnie the Pooh at all?
No.
Bummer.
Yeah. What the hell? There's a Winnie the Pooh. What the hell? It says Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I'm in. What is it?
I don't know. Apparently it's a horror movie. And it looks freaking weird.
He's in Kingdom Hearts.
Winnie the Pooh is?
Yeah, he has his own world. You go to the 100-Acre Wood, dude. It's a book.
Dude, badass. That's so strange. They're making a horror movie out of poor Winnie the Pooh.
Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
Is it like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of thing? That's what it looks like.
That's kind of what the main character thing looks like, huh?
Yeah, another game I'm going to be honest, I don't understand.
Oh, no, me neither. I think
What's
I honestly,
the point of playing like jump scares the game?
yeah, and I honestly think it only got popular because of YouTubers like Markiplier.
For sure.
So
For sure. I guess when I play horror games, I want like that creeping dread of like, I don't want to go down that hallway. There might be a spooky guy on the ground, and I don't. There's a weird sound. I just don't want to go down there.
Yeah, a good example of that to me is like Darkwood.
Oh, dude, Darkwood is one of the scariest games out there.
Yes,
I feel like I can't play it. It's so scary.
I have a hard time playing it,
and it's not. It never like nothing pops up on the screen and goes boo. The floor just creaks uneasily, and a shelf on the other side of the room and you can't see and is moving on its own, and you're like, oh fuck, what's going on?
Right. Or even when you're just like generally walking around the woods and you hear like a branch snap, you're like, what was that?
The sound design in that game is so good.
It is top tier good, and it's a super small development team. It is, yeah. Like, it's considered an indie game, but yeah, it's so good.
And honestly, the way it handles vision, I think, is for like a horror game in that like top-down style is genius. Absolutely genius.
I agree.
That you like you have like a narrow field of view, but you can still kind of tell shapes outside of your view. So like when shit's moving around when you're not looking is so eerie. It's so smart.
I like that mechanic too, that where the mouse is, your vision is clear.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
so
like
shit's a little blurry.
Yeah, but that's like where your character is looking in the cone of vision, but then everything else outside that blurs because your character is not focusing on that, which is so good.
Yeah, it's genius. It's genius. Oh, I can't. I've tried to play that game so many times. I remember you showing it to me a long time ago. I'm like, oh man, I remember buying it. I'm like, I can't. It's so scary. Like,
no,
I got to be in like bright daylight. Make sure people are in the house, and then I'll play.
Yeah, it creeps me out too. It's made me jump more times than I care to admit, and I've still never beaten it. I never have.
I haven't gotten that far.
I think I've gotten pretty far. I've gotten to the third area, the like final area, but I haven't completed it because I'm not very good at it.
Well, what do you mean not very good at it? I don't feel like it's a game you're like a OG gamer at.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's Darkwood. I'm sure there's a whatever any percent speed run of it
for sure. And it's literally 4 minutes, and he like walks into the corner and clips through the wall and goes straight to the end of the game.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah, you're for sure. But I actually like the combat in that game. How you can like if you can like do charged shots and like save your stamina, or you can do like quick bursts, but it uses stamina much faster.
Right.
I feel like it's kind of interesting. It's like a Dark Souls. I'm sure people are tired of hearing that. But that you have like a stamina bar you have to manage to, and the combat's kind of clunky, which I like that in a horror game, that like it's not super like you're not like a badass, you're just some dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I like that you have those options. Like, do you want to use something that's heavy and swings slow, or do you want to use something that's small and swings fast? I mean,
and everything has durability too, so it's like, is it even worth fighting these things, or should I just keep running because I have a nail board and it's gonna break? But if I take it back to my workbench, I can repair it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I break it fully, though, I can't repair it. I have to build a new one. Like, man, the systems are very cool.
The nights are so fucking scary. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah. When like the lamps start like moving around, like shit starts shifting around. Or when someone's knocking at the door.
Or someone knocks. Yeah. Like, oh, man, fuck. Or the lights just go out.
Yeah, they just go off, and you have to go try to reset the generator. Like,
that's what you're supposed to do? I just stand there.
Yeah, I've gone out and reset the generator. Or you have the flares. You can put the flares down.
You have to go outside? Oh my God, that's giving me anxiety. That's just like scaring me. Because I literally what I do every time is I block the doors with like all the furniture that's in the house as much as I can, board up the windows in one room, push the lamp into a corner, and stand behind the lamp. That's what I do.
That's what I do too.
And I didn't realize when the power goes out, you're supposed to go restart the generator, because I've had the power go out and I was like, oh well, fuck, I guess I just don't have electricity, and I just stand there.
And sometimes that is the case, that you don't have electricity. You're just screwed. So
fuck, man. I don't know if I'm mentally tough enough to go outside in one of those night times.
Yeah, it's a solid creepy game for sure.
Well, what do you think? Should we wrap this one up? I kind of need to go. I didn't realize it was almost
Probably.
noon.
Yeah, it's probably been our longest running episode so far.
Really? We were all over the place.
Yeah, we were. I wrote some of the topics down so that I could actually, when I post the video, I can put them in the description so that there is something for people to go off of.
What did
So
you
that
write
way,
down?
I wrote Portland drugs, AI, Magic the Gathering, DoTA,
Oh, yeah.
Elden
Yeah.
Ring,
Oh yeah.
general conversations and one-upping,
Oh yeah.
forms of government.
Maybe conversation meta.
Oh, good one. Conversation meta. I like it. And then I wrote forms of government, religion question mark, sort of question mark,
that's fair.
and then TikTok question mark, and we are screwed.
Yeah, that's a pretty good description.
So-
Well, anybody who's still here, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm sure this one was a wild ride, but I had a lot of fun.
They just wake up. They're still talking?
Yeah. They crashed their car already. They're like, oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think we could safely wrap this one up. So yeah, if anybody is still here, I mean, thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. These episodes are like, just Bo and I having a conversation that we record. This is the real shit we would talk about anyways. So you're welcome. You got to listen to that.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. I guess become part of the conversation if you really want to, and feel free to email us, kotpl.pod@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all those places, and yeah, join the conversation if you would like.
Yeah.
You got anything else for this one?
No, just thank you everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. If you got any cool recipes to send me, I would love to see those. I just got a really fancy new book about wok cooking. I'm going to get into that. So if anybody knows any like pro details, like stuff I really should know before I start cooking in a wok, I would love to hear that.
Nice. I still haven't got you anything for your birthday. What a dick,
Oh,
dude.
have you gone and got my present yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I haven't
man,
even
I
seen
just want to know
Mom
if
and
you
Dad.
like it.
I haven't even gotten to go to Mom and Dad's house for a long time. So
Okay.
But yeah, I guess with that, we will catch you guys in the next one.